Oh, you did.
I did. I pressed the button. We're now live. Hello, everyone. Hello, chat. Welcome to another Monday. Another Monday in January. And it being still January means that there's still nothing to talk about anywhere. So we're going to try something different in this stream. It's a little bit of variation for the type of content that we might do a bit more often going forward, depending on how well this one goes. So if you never see another video like this, you'll know that this one didn't go very well. But hopefully it will. It's just a little casual Monday stream where we talk about how shit Cynic is at his job, according to some person on YouTube. Little video response piece up, and we'll test it. We'll see what happens. See if StreamYards can handle playing videos and shit. This video, I don't know like a huge amount about this video. This is a relatively old video. Some guy back when Cynic and I were both starting who did a response video to Cynic, basically arguing that he was the worst thing on earth. So as a kind of test case, we figured, well, we'll just break this one down. We'll break this video down, and if we do it well, then we'll look at other videos another time. But yeah, I mean, Cynic being the target of this rampant hate speech. Anything I've missed? Anything you want to set up before we get in?
Yes. So this was a time when I had just started my channel, like you said, but I was labeling them as video essays because I was just trying to catch the algorithm, as it were, and that is kind of in the sphere that we're in, is video essay sphere. Even though they're really, they're movie reviews or whatever. So that is the crux of his arguments, but it really seems like this video is just because he hates me and wants to tell everyone how much he hates me. That's really the point. It's not that what I do is not video essay work. It's that he just doesn't like my opinion very much.
Yeah.
But
it's a good little segue into, what actually does make for a good video essay and what actually does make for a good response to a video essay. Questions of definitions and all those interesting things. So maybe we'll learn something. Who knows? Maybe we are shit. Maybe we need to improve.
I used Chat GPT to tell me what a video essay is. And a video essay, just so that we can have a basis here. Video essay is a creative and analytical form of video content that combines elements of traditional essays, such as an argument or analysis and narrative, with the visual and auditory tools of filmmaking. Video essays typically explore a topic, theme, or idea in depth using a mix of footage, images, voiceovers, text, and music to present and support a thesis. Video essays often focus on areas like film, there you go, yada, 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 yada. They can cover virtually any subject. They differ from documentaries in their personal or editorial tone, often reflecting the creator's unique perspective, or interpretation, and argument. In essence, a video essay is a visual way of thinking out loud, offering both entertainment and education, while leveraging the medium to make its points in a compelling and engaging way. So, do I do that or not, I suppose?
Well, he doesn't think so.
He doesn't think so.
No, apparently he does not. But it is fun. I mean, the video essays are the kind of thing that I looked at first on YouTube, because I had never really spent any time on YouTube until I think it must have been around lockdown, right? So I was looking for things to do that weren't my actual day job, which is just boring financial journalism. So I hadn't really realized that YouTube just existed and gave people a platform to turn stuff that they already liked doing, like writing essays on topics like film and media, and actually, adding this video component to it, which is, now you put it in those terms, incredibly simple. Of course, YouTube allows you to do that, but if you don't spend any time on the internet, you might not realize it. So I kind of like a good video essay, because it's given a platform for me to do all the stuff that I used to like doing, but actually now people like watching what I used to like doing.
Yeah.
I'm not just screaming into the void or writing for my own enjoyment. So it's great fun.
But yeah, and to answer the chat, yes, Cynic is movie Cynic. That is me. I am him. Yes.
I was gonna say.
But yeah, shit. I guess we can just pull it up and get going.
Yeah.
I do apologize about this guy's voice, just ahead of time.
There is the usual sort of like preparatory stuff. See, this guy's got I think it's a relatively small channel and like not one that we particularly heard of before. So obviously it's not an invitation to go and be mean to him. He's just the unfortunate guinea pig of this new test experiment of the format that we might do going forward. So, but he should hopefully give us useful things to bounce off and talk about. That's the basic idea, is not to shit on him so much as it is to talk about what he's talking about.
Well, he's also made someone a topic of his video essay, so to speak. I mean, I think it merits a discussion. But yes, please don't bully this person.
Yeah, not at all. Don't go into. I would say don't go into the comment section and say anything. But well, shit. Maybe he'll make excellent points, and everyone will agree, and everyone will stop watching my videos.
This totally blows up on you, or you're just crying at the end of it.
Like, shit, he's right.
He's right.
When you get like halfway through and you glance over at chat and they're all saying, you know what, this guy actually has a point.
Yeah, he's onto something.
The monster.
To preface this a little bit too, I think he goes through 4 or 5 of my videos, and a couple of them have been moved to my second channel. And they're short little things. So if you wanted to go and actually watch them, they'll be, they're on Cynic After Dark, I believe. Otherwise, I can just hit play and we can get started.
A world in which this video's title becomes true is a world that I frankly do not want to live in.
So I'm not that movie that is referencing there is the Black Phone, is it?
Yes.
Is that because you like that movie? Is it terrible to like that movie? I've never even heard of that movie.
I guess he didn't like that movie. Yeah.
Oh, he didn't like it?
I suppose we're gonna find out. And there's video game footage here, so that
okay. So I asked the question: why is he playing? Why do we see Batman running around?
I think so that he can avoid copyright in any way, and it's just it's a easy way to fill the video void when you really just want to provide commentary.
Yeah, a ton of people do it. It's not. It is. It comes across as lazy, but I mean, as a comic book fan, I enjoy watching.
Yeah, but hold on, isn't Batman copyrighted? That game,
not video game footage.
Video game footage is not copyrighted?
No, you can use as much of it as you like. It's a slightly weird area where I think the argument is that because every individual person playing the game is technically creating a new experience, it's like fair use by default. So you can use as much game footage as you like. I've generally avoided doing it. I think the only time I've done it is the Avatar video from whenever the fuck that was, because I didn't want to have to spend all my Christmas going through Avatar and just using all that footage. I still ended up doing all my Christmas on that video, but it's a good way of, you can get sort of cheap, non-relevant visuals. If you want to do like a proper, well-produced response video, it's the kind of thing you probably don't do. But if you don't want to do that, then it's a really cheap and quick way of doing it.
Okay, I never knew that. Interesting.
Yeah, I think he uses quite a bit here to fill in the void, as it were. Jedi Brooks says he just discovered this. Well, here we go, sir.
Back to another episode of Generic Movie Reviewer talks about other generic movie reviewer.
I'm generic.
Because why the fuck not? Now, today we're going to be talking about a guy that I personally dislike and shows a bigger problem with the movie reviewing community as a whole right now, which isn't necessarily his fault. So just because I hate the kind of content this man makes doesn't mean I hate him as a person, so please don't harass him, yada yada yada. You all know the drill. So the topic of this
How does it feel, just out of interest, how does it feel to know that that you are representative of everything that's wrong in movie YouTube?
I think it's great because I think it speaks to the audience, because they kept coming back. I mean, I was at 13,000 here. So
he said he doesn't hate you anyway. So
that's nice.
Well, he doesn't hate you as a person. You just represent everything evil.
That's wrong. Yeah.
Not good.
That's nice.
Yeah,
movie Cynic, and I have
he just hates the idea of you.
With, well, first of all, his name.
He doesn't like my name.
Cynicalness should not be something that you pride yourself on in movie reviews, because that just makes you sound mean and kind of out of touch. cynicalness is something that you used to have in movie reviews, like with the Nostalgia Critic, but no one wants that kind of review anymore. People
We don't.
This will come as news probably to the Nostalgia Critic, and it probably will. It also comes as news to everyone who does movie reviews.
What are the current views of his last video?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, but I mean,
Guess
obviously off
pretty
the
good.
top here, he's kind of wrong about that, considering how, like you said, Platoon, you and I grew at the exact same time at like the same pace practically. So I don't know about that, but
yeah, cynicism does tend to get a bit of a bad rap, but I think people often use that term colloquially and they attack what the colloquial definition of being cynical is. And being cynical in the way that a lot of people do use that term is just being mean and bad faith and miserablist, and you just criticize things because you're a hater. That's what a lot of people seem to interpret cynic to mean. But cynicism is an entire philosophy, and it's a pretty useful approach when it comes to things like Marvel. I mean, I don't think you could really understand what's gone through like the last 2 phases of Marvel if you weren't cynical about the motives behind what creates those movies. It kind of forces you to be a bit cynical about those motives when they're just churning out content after content, obvious like clickbait equivalents or massive numbers of cameos that you throw into every film in a bid to get the audience engaged, but you can't be bothered to write a story. Like, that's a cynical criticism, but it's also a correct criticism. So there's nothing particularly wrong with being a cynic, right?
Criticism's criticism, right? I find it really hard to believe why people get pissed off when other people criticize something, whether it be a movie or book or music, and then they get pissed off because that person has a different view to theirs. I think the best thing you can do is disagree with someone, but see it from their point of view and learn off them, because that's the whole point of a discussion, right? Or a disagreement is that you try to learn off the next person. If the person's talking shit, then you just step back, don't you? Right? Or am I wrong? Or am I wrong? I don't know.
I don't think you're wrong, sir. I think, well, there's a part of this too where I think this guy takes movie cynic a little more serious than movie cynic takes movie cynic.
Yeah, I guess.
The description in my like on my channel itself is just a smiley face, because I consider my channel an alternative form of entertainment. A lot of times I think you come for the entertainment. There's some analysis there that's, you'll walk away with a couple nuggets, but the point is to entertain the hell out of you. Like, that's what I want to do when you come to my channel. So whatever format you want to call it, a video essay, a film review, whatever, I'm talking about entertainment, pop culture. I'm talking about movies, and I want you to have a good time, and I want you to leave laughing. So
yeah, from your point of view.
Yeah.
People want more informed.
Oh, hi, Bex.
Hello.
Hi. I'm here to I'm here defending this video today. I hope everyone knows that.
I'm not surprised.
You are terrible at movie reviews, Cynic. Like, you're way too optimistic, so I need to back my boy up.
Yeah. I mean, to defend myself too, the channel, I try and live up to the channel name, which is The Movie Cynic. So I'll mostly review movies that I didn't like. I watch a lot of things I do like, and I am very, very purposeful when it comes to choosing when I talk about those things. But it's to stick to a certain criteria that I have for the channel. And I find that mocking things is a lot of fun. Making fun of bad things is a lot of fun, and it seems like a lot of people have fun when they come to the channel and watch, and that's the point. So
I'll also point out that the video that he zoomed in on at the beginning, the one that he said he would hate to live in a world where that becomes true, was a video of you praising something.
I was praising something.
Evidently not so cynical.
Yeah, I think like half of the movies on that first shot were like half were good, half were bad.
Do you know what? I was watching this, right, and halfway through, I began to be interested in Batman. And I just zoned out. I was just looking at Batman, and then suddenly I realized I'm supposed to be listening to this guy. So I don't think putting up Batman's a good idea.
Your main takeaway from the video response is that game he's playing looks really good.
Looks good, yeah. I thought, I'd get that one. Yeah.
Even in this, I was like, yeah, I probably would have done that takedown differently.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Approach.
Yeah.
informed, interesting, and helpful reviews instead of people just saying they don't like something for the sake of not liking something. This, however,
I'm sorry.
does not seem to affect the movie.
Okay, I get that you want it to be all like sunshine and rainbows. If you're gonna praise every single thing that like comes down the line, then you're truly not a critic. Okay, then you're a shill. I'm not saying that you have to be negative about everything. I try to avoid things that like piss me off, but you can't. You have to be subjective about all of this. You can't praise every single thing that comes across your desk, or you're truly not a critic. That's a really dumb attitude to take with anything. So if they're saying, well, he calls himself a critic, but he puts out all this toxic stuff, and was like, no, he puts out critiques. That's what a critic does.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the hang up on that and backlash for a bunch of different channels like this, where it was like, oh, he didn't like this particular thing that I like.
Yeah, I mean, he also says like he wants things to be useful, which I completely understand and agree with. I mean, it's not much fun if you just have a channel which says, I hate this because I hate this because I hate this because I hate this. But if that's what your channel was, then you probably wouldn't be growing, because nobody actually does want to hear that kind of stuff. But the point of a review, which is, it might be a bad review, isn't just to say this thing is shit and I hate it. It's also, this is why this thing is shit. And either by implication or explicitly, you go on to say, and this is what therefore would have been better. That you learn a huge amount more, I do anyway, from like learning why something is bad or why mistakes have been made, than by hearing someone say, this is really good because I like it. We've already got a good counterexample of that, Chris Stuckman, who now refuses to review things he doesn't like, but that basically invalidates him as a critic. You already know if he doesn't like it because he's not talking about it. But that just means that he's going out of his way to be nice for no reason.
He's not reviewing films anymore?
He's still reviewing movies, but only movies that he likes, I think. He doesn't want to have to be nasty, because he wants to be in the industry. And so if he's mean to people, then he'll lose friends, so he won't get a job.
You automatically know what he thinks about something before it even, like, as soon as you see the thumbnail, you just know he's going to praise it. So it's kind of, I think my ratio is like 75%, more leaning towards a negative review and 25% positive. And I honestly think that's probably pretty fair. I don't think that it's 50-50 that good movies are released and bad movies are released or anything. Like my positive reviews, I release probably, I don't know, there's probably like 4 or 5 a year, and there's probably like 15 or 12 to 15 negative ones. And I think that's probably representative of reality, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, even Siskel and Ebert gave things a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And there's plenty of times where there's people who I know and respect where they go, hey, I didn't like this movie. And I go, really? Because I liked that movie. You know what I mean? I'm interested to see when someone gives someone who I usually agree with gives it a negative review, and then I end up liking the film. I'm intrigued to watch to figure out why. So I don't think it's an inherently bad thing that you give something a negative review. I think you have to back it up, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Jedi Brooks, hello, sir.
Hello.
What's
How you
up?
doing? I can't believe we're still talking about this in 2025, but go ahead, Becky.
Even the biggest critics get it wrong, because like you got Siskel and Ebert over there. We used to have Barry Norman, and he reviewed a couple of films that I thought he just missed the point. Do you know what I mean? So nobody's perfect, right? As far as I'm concerned, So
No.
I disagree. If Cynic is going to put out videos, they have to be perfect. I'm sorry. All of his videos are way too negative. I missed the first minute and 14 seconds of this, but I already agree with the video.
All I can say is tears of the sun. Tears of the sun, love. That's all I can say. I hate your review. That sucked.
The whole premise is the entire thing is kind of frustrating to even deal with, because the fact that people still can't see that there's still so much to learn from breaking down bad writing and explaining why you had an issue with the film, and then it allows you to realize why you love the stories that you do love, that they don't have all those inconsistencies, and it's a positive thing in the end. And the fact that they only see the negative side, to me, is crazy. I get that all the time.
Also, like, they tend to come into any video you do that's negative, in my experience anyway, because like, I occasionally will get people say, oh, your channel just hates on things for clicks. And it's like, well, hey, if I were doing things for clicks, it wouldn't be 5 hours long. And B, like, there's loads of comparisons in that video to really good stuff that I actually like, because lo and behold, you can learn stuff from comparing good storytelling to bad storytelling. So I just review what comes out, and if it's a bad review, there'll be good references. But it's also like an element of selection bias, because you naturally gravitate toward things you're already interested in. So let's say you, or in me, because this is true of me, your main interests in terms of movies, media, storytelling are going to be things like The Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Star Trek, Jurassic Park, Avengers, another good example. Well, what's the commonality of all those things in the year 2025? It's not that they're all good. In fact, it's pretty much exclusively that all of the things I like have turned to shit. So of course I'm going to end up disproportionately covering negative things, because all the things I like have been ruined. It's the RLM meme again.
And because you're a fan of those things is why you're going to be passionate in your review, even if you're being, cynical. And like aren't you? I thought you were a fan of this. How could you this is the reason we're critical. We understand what's gone wrong, and it's just frustrating. This entire thing should be. It shouldn't be something that still happens in these videos. That people just the idea of you being cynical of something is negative from the very. It's like, what did he say? Like, it means you're going to be mean or something. I couldn't believe that. I'm like, what do you grow up, man? Like, from the first caveman,
he said he hated me.
the first caveman to fucking like draw something on the wall. I'm sure there was another caveman that thought it was shit. You know what I mean? It's just how it works. Any creative work. So you just have to have thick skin anytime you're trying to create anything.
That is true.
I just now imagine this really snobbish caveman critic who looks at like the drawing of the horse and says, well, that's just awful. I mean, I don't know why you do this. You should consider a different profession. Yeah, this is why we send you out hunting the entire time. Stay in your lane.
Just to add on to, it seems like when it comes to when you negatively critique something or positively critique it, people have their whatever they're a fan of is now tied to their identity. So I find more often than not, like even when I put out something positive, it's like if the viewer disagrees with it, it's a personal attack on them almost. So that line has been completely blurred, especially when everywhere you go, it's like they're calling fans of something like what do they call Star Wars fans, like gays or something like that, and then they call like Sailor Moon fans like Moonies and all of that. So there's an identity tied to all of this which people can't separate.
Who calls Star Wars fans the gays? Just
had to sneak it in there.
They blanket it all under nerds.
I did a small tiny review, because I don't review stuff. I said what I thought of Nosferatu, and bloody Vex came storming in going, what are you talking about? Do you remember that? Vex on X?
That film is my identity.
Just the one.
Well, even Nosferatu, I've had conversations where we disagree why we like film.
For sure. Yeah.
I said that some of it was a bit dull, and my God, did Vex have a go at me? Jeez.
I did. Hold on. I had a constructive criticism, sir. If you want, I can put out a 49-minute and 14-second video about it.
That's why these conversations are important, though, man. The idea of the disagreement being this inherently negative thing is just gross. You learn more from disagreements and losses than you do from like agreements and wins. Like, it's just
100%.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well.
This, however, does not seem to affect the movie Cynic's channel, as he only has 19 videos and already has 13,000 subscribers. Which
also, just a quick point, like, it's always a good idea. I don't know if he has scripted this or not, but it's usually a good idea just to give it a quick reread before you go ahead, because you can't go from saying no one wants this type of content anymore to, and yet the channel's doing really well. That's
a quick redraft, my son. That's all you have to do, and you'll catch your bullshit ahead of time, so you don't reveal it to the whole world. Jesus.
What out of curiosity, was there a video that you put out explicitly that just blew up, and then this is
it was the Thor Love and Thunder video. Thor Love and Thunder sucks because it fucking does.
I think he's a huge fan of Marvel. When you listen to his review, he was criticizing your review on WandaVision, he was like saying things like, Wanda, the creators know that Wanda is really bad, that's why she's bad, and stuff like. He was saying stuff like that in this video. So I just think that he's just a huge fan of Marvel and you're attacking what he loves. That's what it sounds like to me.
The amount of people that don't care that Wanda tortured kids because she's hot. It's just like, I'm telling you, the entire Wanda conversation. The whole conversation about that character would be so much easier if she was a hag. Like, it would just simplify everything because they won't look at the writing.
Yeah.
She
was evil. She's evil, man.
One of the comments said you removed video essay from the titles. The owner replied with, "At least he listened to the criticism." Yes, sir. That's right. That's right. That's why I did it. It wasn't because I deep dive analytics and figure out what works and what doesn't or anything. Okay, well, here we go. Back to it.
Back to Batman.
You know, it's great to see your channel grow like that. However, I just think that his content isn't worth the amount of praise he gets. Ooh. We're going to be talking about 4 of his videos, 2 of them positive and 2 of them negative, to see how...
I thought I only did negative stuff.
Exactly. He's already contradicting himself.
What the fuck?
How he does criticism on both sides. The videos we are going to cover are Scarlet Witch is a psychopathic narcissist video essay, Thor Love and Thunder sucks video essay.
It does.
The Black Phone, a new icon of horror, and Top Gun Maverick is incredible video essay.
It fucking is. Movie rules.
Yeah.
Movie fucking rules.
I wish you would at least
for 3 out of the...
Was that?
I was gonna say, I wish before going into your videos, you would at least have a line as to what he thinks the problem is, like objectively, or just this all sounds very personal.
Are we gonna hear
don't
that,
think you know what I mean. Like maybe he'll go into it, but I think it would have been good to have that establishing line before even mentioning the videos.
It is personal though. He started the video out going, "I hate this person. I hate the idea of him. I don't know him personally, but I think he's what's wrong."
That was his thesis statement.
That was
there you go.
That was when we left the gate.
But that's what he said. It was an attack on him personally. That's what he said in the beginning.
He just hates everything else about me and my profession.
But this is what I mean. You're supposed to attack someone's ideas, not them. And he isn't even addressing your anything whatsoever about your content. He just says it's bad. Let's go.
Oh god. Here we go.
4 videos we've chosen, he brands them as video essays. Let's keep that in mind, and also keep in mind what the definition of a video essay is. There's a website called Studio Binder that I feel perfectly encapsulates what a video essay is.
Right, because a video essay has no true actual definition because it's so vague. So it's he went and found one that matched what he wanted, his criteria.
It's comparing you to Studio Binder, which I've watched a lot of their videos, and it's obvious that's been financed by some company and they have a crap load of money with them, and you know it's a professional video essay video stream, whatever it is. So can't really compare them both, really, let's face it.
This is a YouTube channel, or
yes, Studio Binder. It's a YouTube channel.
Said it's a website, which I have just looked.
No. See, if you look up Studio Binder, you'll find it on YouTube.
Okay.
Regardless of what it is, we can all agree that video essay is so subjective. It's just like
it is, yeah.
No, I went to omright.com and
I love this comment. A video essay is an essay that is also a video. Science.
That is true. It's just an essay set to video. What you need is the definition of essay, and then the video is just, and there is video to it.
Exactly.
So that's what a video essay is.
It's a little bit more complicated.
Unless you have a very, very reductive and restrictive definition of what an essay is, which I think this guy probably does, then technically you are doing video essays. But I think the guy who pioneered the modern essay in terms of just like the writing style of the essay is Montaigne, who's like this French writer from, I want to say it's like the 1200s, but I could have got the date wrong there. But he wrote about everything from a really nice essay just on the subject of friendship, but he also wrote essays on the subjects varying from flatulence to like politics. But he was just someone who was interested in absolutely everything. But the point of the essay is that it's an extended piece of writing which contains reflections, which contains opinions, which contains assertions, and which can sometimes also contain arguments which are objective. So it's not the case, which I think he's going to go on to say, that an essay has to be comprised of nothing but objective statements, because what you're doing then is just describing something. You're not actually doing an essay.
Fact checking you right now, 1500s.
15, fuck. I was only 200 years out of date.
Chat is on fire today. They are killing it. All right. This will take. Someone said this is going to take a while. Yeah, this is an EFAP for sure. It seems. Here we go.
I'll leave that in the description, but I'll read you a small part. A video essay is a video that analyzes a specific topic, theme, person, or thesis. Because video essays are rather new form, they can be difficult to define.
Right.
He's already contradicted himself.
Right there.
It's over, dude. Did you not read it before you put it in your video? You fucking
Why
chimp.
would you even put it in the fucking video then?
When line number 2 destroys your entire fucking narrative, you shouldn't put it in your video, you fucking ape.
Oh my god, bro. All right.
Goof magoof.
But recognizable nonetheless. To put it simply, they are essays in video form that aim to persuade, educate, or critique. These essays have become increasingly popular within the era of YouTube, and with many creatives writing video essays on topics such as politics, music, film, and pop culture. What are video essays used for? To persuade an audience of a thesis, to educate on a specific subject, or to analyze and or critique.
So now
that's exactly what you're doing.
Literally what I do.
Why would he do this to himself? Does he not friends? Like anyone to like check this? Like, hey Paul, does this make sense? Like, what's wrong with this guy?
So hold on. So basically, he's saying that the movie critic is not doing an essay, and he just defines the essay. He defined what an essay is, and that's
defined
exactly
what I do exactly.
What you're doing. So it's not making any sense. It's a bit weird.
Woo.
He's wrong.
Well, he's got 46 more minutes, so I'm sure there's some bangers in here.
Oh,
Okay.
All right. There we go.
That we've established that at the barest bones, a video essay is an essay in video form. I know, shocking information. Now we need to
What
talk
a revelation!
about what an essay typically entails, and there's usually a structure that essays are supposed to have, especially argumentative ones. We have an opening paragraph, which typically has.
But who are you to say I'm making an argumentative essay in any video essay I do, since it's so subjective what it is?
A video doesn't usually follow a strict essay format as well, because it's a completely different
it's a total
medium. Yeah, it doesn't flow the same way at all. The whole point is
right,
that the visuals do the storytelling for like half of your argument.
Right. As Chat GPT answered when I asked what is a video essay, it said in essence a video essay is a visual way of thinking out loud.
This is someone who just slaps in Batman footage rather than actually putting in, proper ideas and editing. So maybe he can't relate to this.
Oh yeah, no, that's actually a really good point. Instead of having things like video clips or snippets that might forward his argument, which he's contradicted, I don't know,
4 times already.
26 times, yeah, 26 times in the 3 minutes and 30 seconds that we've been watching. He was like, "And Exhibit A."
Let me show these sick plays from fucking Arkham Knight.
I can swing around, bro.
If he was in a court of law, he'd be thrown out the very second that he read out the video essays, wouldn't he? Would have been kicked out.
He would have been laughed at. First.
The jury would have found him guilty or something.
I mean,
after they caught their breath, they would have definitely thrown him out. Jeez.
Has its thesis, 3 supporting paragraphs that have its supporting arguments, the reasons why you think the thesis is correct, and elaboration on said reasons. And then you also typically have a counter argument somewhere in there, but that one's not necessarily always going to be there, and that's fine. Some YouTubers that I think do this.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
I'm confused.
What the fuck?
I think what he's describing is like the basic. I'm not even sure I'd call it a I'm not even sure I'd call it a high school essay, but what he's describing is the type of essay you are told to write before you know exactly what you're doing. It usually contains bad advice. It's like, think of every writing teacher you've ever had at like lower school who says, no, you can't begin a sentence with but or and. So, well, fucking Shakespeare did. So who the hell are you to talk? You don't have to have an essay which is constructed precisely of intro paragraph, 3 of fleshing out, 1 of rebuttal, 1 of conclusion. It very much depends on how long you plan to write for and how much you have to talk about.
But the Batman thing's quite good, though.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. I used to. They gave me a copy of like MLA format in high school, and I just gave them pictures of Batman back. And they were
Right
like,
on. Yeah.
A plus, you got it.
Is anyone else hearing Sia in the background as well? On top of this, it's like a xylophone version of Sia.
I caught something. I couldn't recognize what it is in the background, but it felt like something like pop.
Yep.
Well,
format very well are Filmento and The Closer Look, which I will have in the description of this video because their content is genuinely amazing. And
okay, he's got a one-up on you there. Filmento is pretty awesome.
Oh, dude, Filmento and Closer Look, those guys are fantastic.
This is why I think he really, really screwed himself by not at least establishing what he dislikes about your channel in a way that we can understand.
It's coming.
Just being a bitch, and now he's coming. Like, it's crazy. Man.
I'm coming.
Explain yourselves, people.
No, I really do like Filmento and Closer Look. I think they're very good. I don't consider them in our sphere at all, though. Like they're off doing their own.
Are they
thing.
professional channels or?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is somebody sponsoring them, giving them money? Like
they probably earn enough on their own to not. Filmento, yes. I know Filmento does sponsorships, yeah, but I don't think Closer Look does.
All right. Okay.
Filmento is very different. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say they're bordering like 1 million a piece, like 1 million subscribers. They get hundreds of thousands of views per video. They do very well. Yeah.
Yeah, and Filmento actually does structure his videos like a paper essay too. What I've noticed. So very different styles.
So it seems like this guy just prefers their style, which is all well and good and fine. Yeah.
Which is why I wish he explained himself. Like we're in the dark here with him.
Yeah, it's very dark because he's in that fucking. I forget what mode this is on Batman Arkham City, but
detective mode.
Detective mode. Yeah, there we go.
Check them out. But in terms of video essays, that's what these people do. They take their information and they compile it in a structured, well thought out video that sums up their thoughts, especially and most specifically on one subject of the movie. Now, this isn't me saying that if you want to do media criticism, you have to do video essays. You don't. I don't do video essays. Most of my videos are not video essays, but
I'm shocked.
The problem is that the movie Cynic labels himself as a video essayist.
Yeah, but you just define the video essay, and basically it's what Cynic does.
Yeah, you still have like.
It seems like his beef is not so much the content you put out; it's that you put video essay in the title. That seems to be his biggest issue.
I think no, because I've taken away that the video essay angle is just a way to bitch about how much he hates my opinion on things.
It's a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just his like trying to make it through the day intro so that he can get to the fucking bitching.
I actually think you're right. I think you're right. He has a problem with your criticism. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Nothing else. He just has
because at first he was arguing the fact that I'm too cynical while he's going to highlight 2 of my positive reviews that he didn't like, apparently. So
we're going to talk more about that throughout the course of this video. So let's jump right into it, shall we?
Oh, those poor, non-existent, made-up children. Since Multiverse of Madness was released, I've heard way too many arguments like this regarding the psychopath that is Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch. So I felt compelled to return to the topic of the selfish, narcissistic moron that is Wanda. A character bereft of any rationality or morality, but sold to us as some sort of tragic anti-hero. A character who's written as a stand-in for people experiencing loss and grief, a subject used to hand-wave for lack of any moral compass, logic, or consistency of personality. The morality that the MCU is trying to push with this character is honestly disgusting.
This video and his 2 The Batman videos are the closest he gets on his channel to being that of a video essayist because he actually has an intelligent thesis. His thesis in this one being that Wanda is a terrible person and that reflects poorly on Marvel. I do have to disagree with that last statement though, as the creators and writers of the show are not on Wanda's side. They point out
What?
What?
How do you know that?
It reflects badly on humanity because fucking the fan base and Marvel is on Wanda's side. You fucking ape! What's wrong with this guy? Why is everything he says wrong? Like, it's just...
And also, just from the history of the comics, the Scarlet Witch is not a good guy. Okay, the Scarlet Witch. Sometimes she's on the Avengers. She's also in the evil Brotherhood of Mutants. Okay, like she varies. So that's fine. It's the other idiots watching them going, oh, well, I guess this is the right thing to do. No, it doesn't have to be the right thing to do because she's not inherently a hero. So it's the people pushing this poor morality out going, well, this is what a hero does. No, she's not a hero. She's never been a hero.
It's deeper than that, though, isn't it?
It's crazy.
It's sorry, mate. It's deeper than this, isn't it? The actual whole content of Marvel at that moment in time was pushing the agenda about women. So it's deeper. It's much deeper. And when you said it, it was the morale and it's just evil. Well, you didn't say that, but I'm saying it. It's true because that's what Marvel was pushing in their shows and consistently pushing it in their shows for a long time. So I don't know why he doesn't see that. But then again, I think he's just a big fan of Marvel and he doesn't like people criticizing what he enjoys, basically.
I think he's a big fan of me secretly.
This is all a clever bit to get your attention, and he has succeeded.
This is flirting for him. There you go.
There are a couple of specific scenes with Wanda they want this. So on the question of whether the writers are on her side. In WandaVision, you have the writers gave that line to Monica Rambeau. No one will ever know what you sacrificed for them.
Yep.
And then you have the other one in Multiverse of Madness when Wanda says, well, I enslaved and tortured people and you saved the universe and people treat us differently and that doesn't seem fair. And then Doctor Strange's response is kind of similar in the sense that he accepts the premise, no, it isn't fair. However, you still have to stop. That's not the writers not being on her side. In fact, the first instance is definitely the writers being on her side. They want to portray her as a tragic anti-hero, but the tragic part suggests that there's a degree of sympathy with the situation she was placed in.
Yeah, and it goes so much worse than that in the fact that like Doctor Strange's whole job is to look over supernatural events on Earth, and they didn't want him in WandaVision because they didn't want the white guy to come and take over the show at the end. That's literally a quote from Kevin Feige. You can look it up. That's literally what it is. They did not want the white guy to come and like take over her show and it to be all about her. Yet they literally have her take over his movie and make it like Doctor Strange 2 is not a sequel to Doctor Strange 1. It's a sequel to WandaVision. And at the end of WandaVision, they show her save the cops that were falling down. So they show that she's not batshit crazy at that point. And she also has the walk of shame with all the people in the town that are looking at her from all the people that she was torturing. And then it leads to the fucking line, the Platoon reference. And it's like, okay, what are you trying to tell us here? Like, is she guilty or is she feel shame for this? Like, and then they skip any possible answers you can possibly get by just jumping into the multiverse of madness. And she's suddenly batshit crazy. Doesn't care about her parents, doesn't care about Pietro, doesn't care about Vision. It's all just lost. Like, it's one of the worst character assassinations you can ever see, and they don't address any of these things. It's crazy. They skip over so much with Wanda. It's almost fascinating.
The stuff she is doing is, and therefore it doesn't reflect a moral failing on the writer's part.
Many of these points will be objective, so if we disagree, it'll be because we disagree on what we consider rational and immoral behavior.
But if we disagree, I will do a video essay about you.
Right.
Jeez.
Thesis of your video being that the Scarlet Witch is a bad person and this reflects poorly on Marvel, then that is something you can totally disagree with while having a moral compass stay in check.
She tortured kids, you idiot.
Shark starting with the WandaVision Disney Plus show, where she took an entire town of people hostage and controlled their minds and every action because she was grieving over her fallen lover, Vision. She knowingly tortured these people to hang on to her make-believe children, husband, and brother. And yeah, that's an objective fact. That's what she did. And someone's grief is not a qualifier for doing this.
But no, you see, because she sacrificed so much for them that makes this all okay.
Grief erases context to these people. It's just insane.
It is, and it's always funny to go back to as well, because I think I only watched WandaVision through the first time and the only time once, and I think the same is true of Multiverse of Madness, but it is always slightly shocking to go back or like to see anybody reference these scenes again and to remember that, yeah, this is what they had to do. This is actually a thing. She enslaved an entire town of people because she was sad that her sex toy broke. And then when she was criticized for doing this, no, that's not her being like the writers taking her side. She did sacrifice loads for them, and they just were too dumb and silly to recognize how good she is. And so now, of course, she's a villain because the world was unfair to her. That is actually the line that Marvel writers took for the best part of 2 years.
The whole show was about empowering women. That's what it was. I mean, even when what's her name? I can't remember the black woman. How she got her power? She walked through the wall, and suddenly she's powerful
for nothing.
Do you know what I mean?
Nobody earns their powers anymore. They just get handed them. It's
it didn't even look like it hurt.
And
then
they
you
had
don't
the line
see her
from...
again until you get to the Marvels, when she's all of a sudden one of the main characters in that movie. What a terrific origin story she has. How did she get through? How did she get the powers? She got like electrocuted with witch magic or something. I don't know. Fuck it. We don't need an origin story.
That would be like at the end of or the beginning of The Empire Strikes Back. The Emperor getting all pissed off and go, they blew up the Death Star. Do you know how hard it was for us to build that damn thing? You know how many people had to work to build this planet destroying
the economy we created?
Anakin just wanted to bring peace, order, and security to his new empire, and now look what you've done. You've created a revolution, and everyone's dying.
You gone and ruined it.
No, I was just gonna say they had that line from Vision saying, Wanda, where are all the kids in Westview? Like, he passes by the school park every day and he doesn't see any kids. And they had the lady basically saying, Wanda, like, my kids, like, can they play with your kids? Can they be a part of your story? Like, pretty much anything to get them out of their room. She had all the children trapped in their room. Like, it's like the worst torture you could have possibly imagined. People skip over that part in addition to the townspeople. It's the whole thing is just backwards, man. It's a test of morality, really. Like, I don't know.
I'm really glad I didn't watch this show now. My goodness.
Oh, it's
the worst part about it. The worst part about it is it didn't start bad. The first beginning of WandaVision is one of the best things Marvel ever did because you thought it had potential,
and then it rug pulls you.
Yeah, like in a way you'd never see coming.
Yeah, it's actually pretty creative. It's an interesting new premise for a type of Marvel show, and it's like it's not the beginning of WandaVision is not generic Marvel slop, and that's about as high praise as you can give to it. They could have taken that in a number of very interesting directions. Don't think we ever anticipated they take it in the direction that they did, and they still managed to end it with a really generic Marvel slop ending fight of just flying through the air, shooting lasers at each other.
Lasers and nonsense.
All the promise you had at the beginning, and you just squandered it.
There's actual creepy moments at the beginning of WandaVision, and to end with just laser slop, it's incredible.
I get the impression that they had a really good script, and somewhere down the line they decided to change it because, again, it was kind of the start of the agenda kind of thing, and they wanted the women to be powerful. I think in the original script it was either Doctor Strange that comes and does something, or it was Vision. The real Vision or something like that, something to do with Vision at the end that helped her at the ending, but they kind of chucked that out, didn't they? Apparently I heard that they actually shot something with Doctor Strange and then they just took it out. So I don't know what's the truth, but
that quote's out there. The quote from Feige is out there, and it's just shocking. And with Vision, it's almost more frustrating what happened with him because the most interesting part of the show was Vision slowly realizing something is off here, and it has to do with Wanda. And like, Wanda, what do you do? Like, stop! Like, some of the best acting he's ever done. Like, Wanda, stop lying to me. And then they turn his brain off, and he's on some stupid side quest with Darcy doing a bunch of nonsense. It's like he just completely forgets. It's insane. They cut off all the interesting threads for the show and ruined pretty much every character in it.
And what they did was they basically pushed that narrative into the Doctor Strange movie.
Yes.
Again, with the kids and stuff like that, they pushed it, and they're trying to convince us that what she's done is right in the town. It's like, no, it doesn't matter what you do; it's still evil, you know. So anyway,
they had Doctor Strange say, "Oh, but you put it back together at the end. And that's all that matters." Like when he's referring to the town, everything she did to Westview, they just brush it under the rug.
She had to save the day in that film, not Doctor Strange. Not
it's pathetic. It's pathetic. That's all I can say.
So we can see it coming.
I'd actually forgotten the whole put it back together line. Yeah.
It's the
writers-
first thing.
The
She
writers
basically-
definitely aren't taking her side, though. Absolutely, that's not what's happening.
No,
She
not
had
at
a
all.
moment to basically say, like, I did wrong, I did bad things, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then he says, nah, that's fine. Like, that's pretty much what he says. Like, it should be literally his job to put a stop to what she did. She tortured a town full of people. Anyone else, Strange, would have, like, had a bunch of portals up her ass. But Wanda is untouchable. It's ugh. I hope people learn from this in the future, man. This is what they did to this character.
Well, this guy didn't learn anything.
He's just a fan. It's just like I just get the impression that he's a really big fan of Marvel. He will not hear any criticism about what they've done. That's the impression I get. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
We have more of his commentary to find out. So
What more?
Yeah, a little more, just a little bit.
Disagree while keeping a moral compass in check. You see, I do agree that doing this is horrible and grief is not a valid excuse for it. However, the show isn't framing that as an excuse, it's framing it as a reason. It's her reason, her motivation for doing so.
Aren't
There
those
is
kind
no
of
amount of
synonymous
grief.
with each other?
Not quite, because you can explain why something is happening in order, but the explanation and justification being two different things, I think, is the angle he's trying to go with there. So, like, his interpretation of WandaVision is that it's explaining why Wanda is doing the bad things that she's doing, but the explanation itself doesn't mean that they're on her side or that she was in any way right and justified to do what she's doing. The inconvenient thing for this guy is that the show does say that she was kind of justified in doing what she was doing, and people make apologies for her after the fact. So.
Yes. Yeah.
The explanation is not an excuse, man. Like, you just, like, we all know why she did. We watched the fucking show, but it doesn't justify all the terrible things she did. You have to actually address those things.
According to that woman at the ending, we'll never know the sacrifice that she made to, all that, right? She said at the end of the show, didn't she?
Doesn't she say something else stupid like, I'm not the one, like, holding the gun? And it was like, no.
You're torturing you're holding an entire town hostage.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm not the one with the guns.
I'm not the one with the
oh my
guns.
God.
Like, whatever the fuck.
It's the moment her character was like, yeah, there's no going back from here. You're done. Like, you just stick a fork in it.
Which is fine if you recognize that this character isn't a good character. This isn't a heroic thing to do. If you can write that and you can make it inherently interesting, they chose not to do that.
Penguin, Waltz, like, we love it when we be realistic. We know what we're watching, and you can tell that moment of when you're on board with them and when that moment where they cross the line. But as long as the show, actually addresses the content and doesn't skip over it and have dumbass fucking Afro chick say the stupid line that she said, like, I don't know why the hell they can't see the fuck up with this character, but yeah,
that's because they got bad writers. They hired bad writers. So.
Yes, they do.
So there you go. At that moment in time, I don't know what they're doing.
Don't they also say too? It was like, well, we don't want people who read the source material, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's still around that time. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's why we got this shit anyway.
It's like it
That
shows.
justifies doing something like that.
Don't you know how grief-stricken she is? Sir, have you considered her pain?
There's no argument to make to justify this.
Here's another thing that video essayists don't do, and that's insult their audience. Because
what are you talking about? Just this morning, I was roasting somebody. What are you fucking talking about? Rip somebody before work, before bed. Like, what are you talking about?
I could have based on the definition of essay he's provided and the structure for an essay he's laid out, I could be writing an essay in which my opening thesis is, for example, everyone who unironically enjoys Godzilla X Kong is retarded. Here is my several paragraphs of justification. Here is my counter argument and my conclusion. That's an essay. Just insulting people does not make it not an essay. You can argue that you shouldn't do it if your goal is to, like, convince people who very much disagree with you. But the mistake a lot of these people make when they say, oh, why are you insulting your audience, is to say that they are your audience. And in many cases, they're not. You kind of get to choose who your audience is. If I wanted to create a very, persuasive argument for, like, disliking something this guy likes, I might not lead off by saying, I think you're really, really stupid for enjoying it. But if that's not my stated aim with the essay, I have no obligation to do it that way. I'm not supposed to be polite to you just because you think I should.
I think chat was right. He was offended by it, so therefore, it was a self-report. He was insulted by it, therefore everyone was insulted by it.
If it makes them feel a certain way, it doesn't really matter what you said. Facts.
Marvel Studios insults their audience all the time.
Exactly.
The people that they're
Exactly.
shilling for go like, I don't care what like 40-year-old white men think about this. And I was like, oh really? Because those are the people going to see your movie.
It's like it's like 65% of your fucking audience.
Yeah,
that's such a good point. It's crazy. They like the lack of self-awareness in this video. Just 7 minutes in is just shocking. Yeah.
Well, we have a deadline to meet, so I don't even know if we'll finish this. Honestly, we'll get like 10 minutes into it.
We'll get some streaks.
Yeah.
You seem vindictive. Additionally, this is a straw man argument, as no one is saying that this justifies what she's doing. They're saying that's her reasoning.
It wasn't at the end.
So
they literally have a
She didn't
line.
know what she was doing. She did.
She's there.
This will be your only warning.
Wait,
that's insult.
I just had to rewind it because I forgot in that video I show you lines where they're justifying it, where the writers are justifying it. Well, it's the lines we already
back
discussed.
up what you were saying instead of
You'll
showing
never know what you
vigilante.
sacrificed for them.
Exactly.
Like, doesn't get more explicit than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're framing and painting this character in the way you want the writer, want the audience to accept it.
And I don't want to keep making you pause, but just one really important point I think is Wanda has always been willing to be accountable for her actions. Like after the airport fight, she went to the raft. Like she felt guilty for what happened with Ultron, and she helped the Avengers. Like she's always been willing to do the right thing. But in WandaVision, she just fucks off and flies away instead of like going to the cops. The cops were literally on the way, and then she just flies away. It's the first time you see her not take accountability. And I really think that says something a lot about what they did to her character when there's, so many examples we've seen before. They ruined her. And he won't address these things because he likes the character. It's just these type of reviewers.
She's not going to date you, bro.
Yeah, big simping.
I know she's hot.
Big simping, baby.
Their audience, because that automatically makes you seem vindictive. Additionally, this is a straw man argument, as no one is saying that this justifies what she's doing. They're saying that's her reasoning for doing so.
You can't argue that she didn't know what she was doing. She did.
This will be your only warning. Stay out of my home.
That clip does not prove your point. If anything, it proves that she actually doesn't know what she's doing. So
How?
Why didn't he use the one about the guns?
I think I do.
How?
No. I'm saying why didn't he like put that in his video? Like he doesn't address that. Like, was that the clip that you added, or is it a clip that he added? The one.
Oh no, that was my clip in here. Yeah.
She's telling the army to stay away from her home, the home that she's enslaved.
And,
I know.
Right. She knows what she's
people in
done.
the town. Yeah. So I don't know.
Like I understand that the Darkhold is, responsible for it or whatever, but
no, that's in the multiverse of madness. That's not even in this movie.
No, well, yeah.
Well,
at the end, it's that. Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is literally just Wanda being a dumbass.
I
like
forgot about that.
This is all her.
I wrote this like 3 fucking years ago. I completely forgot about that.
I just finished my MCU video, so all this is so fresh in my head. Like Wanda is like up there with Daenerys Targaryen for one of the most ruined characters I've ever seen.
Damn.
She's obliterated.
Wow.
Yeah.
She gets the Darkhold right at the end of WandaVision, doesn't she? And then, like the main influence it has is in Multiverse of Madness. Agatha has it before then, if I remember correctly.
He rejects it in WandaVision, and then suddenly has it in Multiverse of Madness.
Which makes it worse.
Yeah.
Like, I think this guy actually does go on to argue that it's the Darkhold that's basically responsible for all this. No, it isn't. She's doing all of this before she's under the influence of the evil Berg. This is entirely Wanda doing Wanda things.
Yep.
Well, congratulations, you've successfully disproved yourself.
What we have is Wanda keeping an entire town under control and her hex threatening the entire world because she has the SAD. The fact that Marvel tries to spin this to get sympathy from us is gross.
Yet another time where he insults the creators. You see, you can't say this because it gives the impression that giving people sympathizable villains is something that is a moral failing, which is just not true. Having villains that we can't sympathize.
So that's one of those situations where context is entirely the king. It depends on the villain you're talking about.
Yeah.
If you wanted to try and make like Hitler seem sympathetic, that is a moral failing on your part as a creator, because some villains are not sympathizable.
Cruella de Vil.
Cruella, no, because she's sympathetic because like Dalmatians murdered her parents or whatever.
Exactly. Skins dogs. It's like there's some characters you just don't do this with. Where like we all love sympathetic villains where we can understand like their point of view, but still follow through with their actions.
Yeah,
this isn't it, man. This isn't it. Wanda should be, if she has all these powers, why isn't she bringing back Pietro or her parents or any of the other things? No, it's just these stupid little kids that don't exist. It doesn't make any sense, man.
Like, you could have made Wanda a sympathetic villain. They tried to make her a sympathetic villain, hence the lines that we've referenced a couple of times already about, not being her fault and everything being unfair on her and her putting it back together. So it's technically she did the right thing in the end. Like, these are attempts to make her sympathetic, but that is because the writers don't seem to have understood exactly how bad she's been. And therefore they think they can make her sympathetic in that way. So it's a failure on the part of the writers, which makes it absolutely fine to criticize them and to call them stupid, even if it does sound mean to say that.
The best thing they did, just real quickly, the best thing they did in the entire show to make her sympathetic was when the cops are fighting at the end and one fell, Wanda saved their lives. And that's what she would do in that situation. That's Wanda being Wanda. But we never get to see anything like that ever again. Everything else is just either these forced lines or her being insane in the Multiverse of Madness. But like that was the last moment where they actually like understood, her character.
So I just have a question about WandaVision. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, should I play this a little faster? Chat suggested it. And
yes,
he really does.
He talked very slow.
Yeah.
For this guy, it might just work because
1.5 speed.
Yeah, we can see how 1.5 works.
But since you speak like a human, your parts might be like weird if it's sped up. Yeah.
That's true. That is true.
But I'd say give it a try.
We can give it a shot. All right.
With make very boring villains. Has everyone forgotten Thanos? Come on.
He actually sounds better.
Sounds better. He sounds way better.
Way better. A normal human being.
Significantly beher. Oh, you're probably
doesn't sound like his blood sugar just spiked. Or...
He doesn't sound like a Valley Girl anymore.
Oh, I'm gonna sound awful here.
Sympathizable. Like that probably actually sounded like reasonable if you put the speed up. But
I do it and I become the enemy. That doesn't seem fair.
This is a great line delivered by a great actress, but when I first heard it in the trailers, it came off extremely forced considering what she did in WandaVision. This was before we knew she'd be the villain of the movie, and after seeing how it unfolded, the line comes off even worse now. It's supposed to expose hypocrisy, but it's really just idiotic bullshit some writer made to make himself feel clever.
Yeah, I thought it, then I said it, I'm on it!
At one point, she even tells Strange that her trying to kill an innocent child in order to satisfy her own personal desires is equivalent to Strange giving Thanos the Mind Stone. So, he's a hypocrite. What the fuck? How is Strange giving up the stone as the only means of defeating Thanos, equivalent to you wanting to kill a kid to go be with your made-up kids? Strange fucking sacrificed his life and was gone for 5 years in order to save the world. Doesn't strike me as the same thing, but what do I know?
What do you know, indeed?
Were you listening? Did you even listen? That was bulletproof. You weren't listening. That's it. He wasn't listening or he just wants to hate on you. Everything you just said there is bulletproof. This guy is like a Neanderthal. That's the only thing conclusion I can come to. Like that's not fair at all to like not even engage with any of the arguments that you just provided.
Well, I accidentally called the time stone the Mind Stone. So
okay. So you know what? Scratch all that. Screw that. You don't know what you're talking about then. Screw
God damn it.
Delete it all.
Chat got me. Damn.
We know which stone you're talking about, man.
Yeah.
It's just
no, I think it is the time stone, isn't it?
No, it's the time stone is the one that he gave up to save Tony's life and to ultimately
you're right.
Yeah.
The Mind Stone was the one Vision had.
Yeah, and which is like that is the most reasonable, and she wants to do this so she can like play The Sims. It's not like even the same thing in any way, shape, or form. It's not fair to even like what's frustrating me is that like I really liked the delivery of all that, and I think it's bulletproof. and it's just not fair to even engage with your argument in any way. Like that's not cool at all. Come on, you should be. His audience deserves better than this. Like that's just worthless.
Logic.
Logic.
This point doesn't really work as well as he thought it would. For one, Wanda doesn't have any obligation to be right at the moment. She doesn't need to be reasonable right now because she's clearly in a deluded state of mind. Two, while the movie does agree with Wanda, it does so in a way that doesn't really reflect on it being a decision that saved millions. It reflects on the fact that Doctor Strange thought that he could make that choice, that he was important enough to make that choice, which he obviously isn't important enough to make a choice about something that would affect many, many people.
No MCU hero's choice.
I'm slightly confused because he didn't word that at all well. Is the argument
that was butchered?
The argument is that Doctor Strange was not shouldn't have been able to do what he did because he shouldn't have been responsible for the fates of millions of people.
Affects so many, but even though he watched every single scenario and there was millions of scenarios where they lose, and him giving up the stone was the only scenario where they might come out on top.
Yeah,
but
stupid. Just go get more Pym particles. That's
was there
literally breaks the whole movie.
Was there one? There was one thing that would make them win, wasn't it?
It was one out of 99 million. It was this insane, insurmountable number.
Yeah,
nonsense.
And the comparison with what Wanda did is what? So, and Wanda didn't have to be responsible because she was deluded.
I think we have to hear it again. He butchered that whole sentence.
Isn't he now?
Let me play
it
at regular speed then.
Sorry.
I think so.
He's saying drunk drivers shouldn't go to jail. Is pretty much is what he's.
Yeah, we can play his argument over again at regular speed.
Okay.
Doesn't strike me as the same thing, but what do I know?
What do you know indeed? Well, let's talk about why this point doesn't really work as well as he thought it would. For one, Wanda doesn't have any obligation to be right at the moment. She doesn't need to be reasonable right now because she's clearly in a deluded state of mind. Two, while the movie does agree with Wanda, it does so in a way that doesn't
he said it doesn't.
on.
I thought he said it doesn't agree with it. This guy's flip-flopping all over the place. He said that this movie doesn't agree with her. Now he's saying that it does. This is how you know he's just strictly bad faith. He doesn't even know what he's talking about, man.
I do also quite like the idea that if you're deluded, you don't have any responsibility to be right.
Do we even need to comment on that?
Oh my god!
It's just even.
Woo!
Hey, right up.
On it being a decision that saved millions, it reflects on the fact that Doctor Strange thought that he could make that choice, that he was important enough to make that choice, which he obviously isn't important enough to make a choice about something that would affect many, many people.
No MCU.
He made the choice and he gave the stone to Thanos. What are you talking about?
And they won.
The choice. And
they
won.
By the way, he's the Sorcerer Supreme. He is the end all say all on magical activity. He is in charge of that. So yes, it's very much his choice to make because they put him in charge of the Time Stone.
Isn't that literally his job description?
Yes, it is.
It's his job is to stop magical threats to the fabric of the universe.
Look over any supernatural events, not even just threats, just supernatural events.
That is like what he was saying. It's not her fault. She's deluded. That would be like a cop arresting someone for drunk driving and then he had no right to make that decision. That's not your choice to make. It was yes, it's literally 100% his choice to make.
Or someone in the fire brigade has said that if I can't lift the guy up, then it was his fault for being there in the first place.
Oh yeah.
There's a million examples you could use to just crush that whole point. That's why it's like Platoon said at the beginning, just redraft, man. Redraft. Take a look at your script before you put this out to the world because it's so broken and you're contradicting yourself all over the place. It's not good video, dude.
Well,
affect many, many people.
No MCU hero's choices are comparable to Wanda's. When the heroes in this universe have messed up, it's happened out of their selfless intent, out of their desire to help others. Strange and Spider-Man used the spell to try and make people forget that Spidey was Peter Parker, and that was morally wrong. But Spider-Man only came to Strange once he realized that his identity being exposed was hurting his friend, girlfriend, and family. He did it for them, not himself. And Strange cast the spell because he felt bad for Peter and reluctantly decided to help.
For one, Peter Parker almost caused an incursion, so I think that...
Were you not listening?
You didn't listen to what the fuck I said, clearly.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. Damn. What's
like
the point
no
of
shit?
making-
He made the wrong choice, but he did it with his heart was in the right place. He didn't know he was going to cause an incursion.
He's almost your point, like for you. In fact, like we're aware of these things, but the question is why did these massive mistakes that you're describing? Why were they made? They were for character reasons, and you can go from Tony to like almost any superhero you could think of. It's usually a character reason, but with Wanda, there isn't one. But you can search for the way you want.
He fixes it at the end. He redeems himself and makes the heroic decision, going, you know, like
Wanda flies away, like she just leaves.
Yeah, she runs away.
Instead of going, she dips.
There was a massive like difference in
Spider-Man at the
direction
end
of
of
moral
Spider-Man
travel.
didn't go sucks to suck and then like web sling out of there.
Look at everything Tony did. Tony, a warmonger who became a martyr, like who literally to his last ounce of strength tried to redeem himself in everything he's done wrong. Like it's an amazing part of his character. Like how do you ignore all that and like not see that Wanda's the opposite of that? She's just
I mean, it's like the best two examples to put side by side because Spider-Man makes a sacrifice to redeem a mistake that he's made, and Wanda sacrifices people and never kind of admits that she ever made a mistake. So one of these things is a redemptive act, and one of them is quite categorically not.
It's true. And Tony Stark actually knew what was going to happen to him before he even did the click. With his fingers, so, and that was heroic as well. So
makes the hero, man. These choices.
Yeah.
Well, even with Tony too, he knows that and they use his daughter as a good example. He also knows he can't just bring it back to the point of the original snap because there's other people who have been born and have built their life. So he brought everybody back, to his own demise when he could have just brought everything, but he would have lost his daughter. Anyone else who had children in that point of time, they would have been lost. So he does the opposite of what Wanda does again. So it was like to bring up these points and say, well, Wanda did the same thing it's irresponsible.
He's very much for Marvel, isn't he? He's very much for the way Marvel was in those days. Or maybe he just doesn't see it. I guess it's the latter. Yeah, I think it's the latter.
But it's become more than just hating on Cynic at this point. It's like he's revealed a part of himself in this 10 minutes that is pretty gross. Like you can't see these. Like it's very, very simple thing we're talking about. Or this isn't a complex character, and he can't even address any of it whatsoever. He hasn't been honest with what's happened on screen. It's just frustrating to listen to. Where's it go?
I don't know.
You got control of the play button, bro.
I don't know. Maybe he fainted or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he just couldn't take it anymore.
He couldn't take it. Yeah.
Correct.
I think Vex still there? She disappeared.
No, she's checking it.
I'm back.
We have a private chat.
No, he's back.
I'm back.
All right.
I was trying to steer the conversation, but then while you were away, I didn't realize I'd hit the mute button on my microphone. So
There's just the three of us for a second, man. That's funny.
I am back. All right. Shall we carry on then?
Shall we?
Okay.
Do we have to?
For a little bit. Yeah.
No, more of this guy. He's
Catastrophe he's done far too. Part of Peter Parker's reasoning for doing this act is also because he couldn't get into college. I understand that Ned
That's
and
not true.
his girlfriend
That's
were also
not true
part
at
of
all.
it,
Not
but
true.
let's be honest here, it was at least slightly selfish.
Yes, make
Meanwhile,
everyone as
Wanda's
negative
mess
as
up
Wanda.
is torturing an entire town of people and eventually murdering people across the multiverse for her own benefit. Yeah, very similar. Even Iron Man and Bruce creating Ultron was out of hope that it would protect the world from outside threats. And let's not forget, Stark only did that after Wanda messed with his mind and manipulated him into doing it. Funny how things come full circle. After realizing this, the "doesn't seem fair" line sounds like the equivalent of punching a stranger on the street and calling the police because they beat your ass.
It's almost like Wanda's character is completely diluted at this point, and the Darkhold has completely destroyed the way that
No, it
she
hasn't.
views reality.
No, it hasn't.
Strange even tells
At that point, yeah, at that point, it was in Multiverse of Madness.
Oh,
right?
okay. If we're talking about this scene, yes. But my thing with the Darkhold is the idea that this book would make her completely. What's the point of her character arc whatsoever if it's just erased? Because there's no version of Wanda that wouldn't care about her parents or Pietro.
Right, and how powerful is this Darkhold hold on her anyway? Because by the end of the movie, all she has to do is see another version of herself, and she just makes the decision to stop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Know that they will be loved. She already knew that. She was watching. Like all of it.
She was watching them be loved
completely.
And then she was gonna kill her. She was gonna kill herself and
sense.
then join that universe instead. So
right, so it can't. It's not a very powerful device at all. It's
Wanda Maximoff has like the greatest like streak I've ever seen of stupid comments in a row in Multiverse of Madness. Like every single thing she says, it's like you have to sit down and like do research to remember why it makes no fucking sense and break it down. Like it's just incredible. Because a lot of times you can just let someone,
she was a horrible person in the TV show just because, but in the second, in her second appearance in the film, she was corrupted by the Darkhold, which she breaks the spell almost immediately by her own fucking will.
She's I'm not a witch. Okay. I don't cast spells. No one taught me magic. That's what she said when she told Agatha to fuck off with the Darkhold. Literally, they cut to Multiverse of Madness, and she's like all in on the Darkhold. She's read every page. The whole world's turning red. It's like, when did this happen? Like, you skipped the whole movie, man. You can't just do this to me.
It makes more sense to actually look at the Darkhold as the tool that an already evil person thinks will enable her evil schemes to come to fruition better. Like the point, if you wanted to have it, and as the Darkhold is corrupting her, and that's the reason she's doing bad shit, you can't have her doing bad shit before she gets the Darkhold. That's just basic good common sense. The fact is that she was already doing evil shit. She still had the same wants. The Darkhold represented an opportunity to get what she wanted from her evil deeds in the first place, so she used it. And there's not a huge delta between what she does after it and what she does before it, because she's basically the same person. They don't really make a big deal of the fact that the Darkhold is making her do nasty shit. She's already doing nasty shit. She's just a nasty person.
They've done a better example of the Darkhold with the symbiote. In the cartoons and any other ones you could think of. That's a that's a better idea of this concept, like corrupting someone with there's some type of force that corrupts a character and makes them do things that are out of character. And like
or the dark side.
It's still in line. Yeah. There's so many different versions of this that they could have copied, but the Darkhold just like, what's the point? You just deleted her character and now I'm stuck with this clown lady. Like it's not.
I love how we were gonna subjectively go through this guy's video and it just became another shocking indictment of how bad WandaVision was.
It's so true.
True.
It's so bad that you just can't help but like take an analysis break. Go ahead.
No, it's so true, isn't it? That it's so badly written, and the movie is even badly written as well. And I used to like this character before the TV show. I thought she was a good person. I haven't read the comics, so I don't know what actually happened.
I mean, it's totally fine that she devolves into a villain. Just frame her that way, for fuck's sake, because that's what she is.
Well, women can't be bad on Marvel films, can they? Or
no, they can't. They always have to have.
We seem like hung up on this. Why don't we like fast forward to when he starts to rip on something that you thought was good?
Yeah,
I'm just looking forward to like another several months of this kind of content.
I'm down. I was like,
what have we got?
I'll marathon
Captain Falcon 2 or whatever it is coming out in February.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing will happen again, because that means people will have to start going back to revisit the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is another show which It has a very skewed sense of what morality is and should be. And that will almost certainly have an important part to play in analysis of that movie too. It's like these TV shows which were created around the same time, which all were written by people whose moral compass is skewed to fuck, are now going to come back and start biting even more mainline Marvel movies because that's the bed they've made.
Yeah, he's going to come back and go, you got to do better, movie Cynic.
Freckle Jesus. Jeez.
Oh, God, yeah, her again.
I watched one episode of that, and I just couldn't take it, man. I'm going to have to go back. I'm going to have to go back for when the movie comes out, but, man, I'm not looking forward to it.
It's a very bad show.
Very, very bad show.
Well, yeah, we can. I mean, we can keep going with this, or we can skip to another part of the video, or whatever. I don't care at all.
What's the next one he reviews? Of
your
review. Of your review.
Yeah, a review of my review.
I don't have any faith in his ability to counter your points on Wanda, so maybe he'll do better.
Yeah, that's something I do on X4 speed. Oh, the black phone is next, it appears.
Okay,
which is a positive. Yeah.
What's he say about Black Phone?
I love it if you're like, I love this movie, and he's like, this dipshit. Unbelievable.
I can't believe he likes this.
The 4 times speed thing is one thing that does come up a few times in the video because to the extent he has a central argument that he's trying to make, it's just terminological. He doesn't think that what you're doing is a video essay. To prove his point, what he does is, with a couple of these videos, I don't think it's this one, he will stick it on at 4 times, 5 times speed, whatever it is, let it play, it will finish, and then he'll say, I did that because he didn't make a single objective point during that period. I say, well, I don't trust that that's true because, like, I don't understand. I don't think you understand what an objective point is. I don't think you understand what an essay is either. And it's also just bad form in any kind of response video to do that because for all the audience is aware, you have actually skipped over some pretty important substantiating argument stuff. Obviously, if you cut out the setup, the conclusion will seem unsupported. But it's why if you're going to do a response video like this, either structure it to give the best impression of the person you're like responding to, or don't do it. But don't do the cop-out thing of I'm too lazy to respond, so yeah, 5 times speed because funny.
Yeah,
it's a failure. Bad faith. Yeah, it's not even good for your own audience. You know, they deserve so much better than that. Like you're just not providing any proper content here or argument or reasoning.
How many views does this video have? Oh, sorry.
No,
I think like 5,000-ish.
Oh, okay.
Like something like that. I think it's his most popular video. Shit, it's trying to
because it's controversial. Because it's controversial. Yet he's giving you shit for being like having the name Cynic. Like it's just.
I know his most popular video is his most popular video is one where half of what he's reviewing is me giving positive critiques and he's shitting on it.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see when we get into that.
Yeah, and I believe this one, when we skip to the black phone section, my video is only like 5 minutes long. I usually do my positive reviews shorter because they're mostly, I'm not going through the plot usually because I want you to watch the movie because I liked it, you know. But let me skip ahead here and try and find where he starts breaking that down.
So you can talk about how he responds to criticism. You see, I never said that you think to choose away. Try to watch the first 30 seconds of your video because the writers also agree with your for the last time. So.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like I actually interacted with him, and that made him very like he didn't like the interaction. That's what that looked like.
Oh,
how sensitive is this guy?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And he also thought that Jodie Foster would date him if he did a takedown video of you. So
yeah, now you got to send me a copy of this video. I want to see the whole thing now. This guy fascinates me.
The next video we're going to talk about is one of his positive ones where he talks about why the black phone is apparently a new icon of horror. Massive X to doubt for that
one. How we sped it out. That's not good.
Okay.
He cut this. Wow.
That's a lot. Oh my
He didn't make an
goodness.
objective point. Okay.
Like I said,
well, that is the point he's going
to
try and make. As soon as this comes to the end, is what he will say is, yeah, I did that because there were no objective points being made, and it took Cynic like, oh, it's only a 5-minute video, but like I skipped 4 minutes of it because I didn't give a shit what he was saying.
And it being shorter might mean that, you know, in terms of pacing, he's going to be making many points like per minute. Like it's the worst type of video to skip, where like, how do you expect anyone to believe you when you take a chunk that big? Like if this was just like a 5-second clip, I could believe him, you know, but I don't know. You're risking your reputation for something like this, dude. Like anyone could just go click those videos and see if you're full of shit.
Well, let's see if we get through this X4 speed. This is really something.
As mentioned, most modern horror movies rely on cheap jump scares, but any jumps here are directly related to the plot. They're earned, they have a purpose, and that's appreciated.
Sorry about that whole 4 times speed thing. It just took him way longer than it should have for him to get to an actual objective point.
Oh, you're one to talk.
So
there you go.
This is the first of his actual points, and that is that the jump scares are purposeful and they are important into the story. And
just very quickly on that. So like you'll notice that at the first words you said in the clip he actually played from you say, as mentioned, jump scares, which means you made the point previously and he apparently didn't detect it. Also going back against his own definition of an essay, which of course is introductory paragraph, several paragraphs substantiating your core argument, then argument again, then conclusion. So what he's done is criticized you for obeying what he thinks the video essay format is.
Also, it's very jarring to hear that at 4 times speed, and then he's like, sorry to speed through all that. It's like, thanks, Eeyore.
Entirely. You see, the jump scares to me are so insignificant that they aren't even part of the story. The main kid can't see these ghosts.
I think my point, I don't remember honestly because it was so long ago, but I believe my point with the Black Phone's jump scares is that they had an actual reason they happened, not if they were effective or et cetera, et cetera. It's that like they were set up to happen and it made sense that they were happening and whatever. Not that they just kind of came out of nowhere for the effect because it's a horror movie and they, you know, you got to get a scare in there.
I think you basically explained that in the line that he played before this, but then he's just going on like that never happened now.
Yeah.
Like this is another one of those moments where he just straight up wasn't listening to you. It's like if you guys were having this conversation face to face, I don't know what you'd say next. So you just stare at him blankly. Like, you know what I mean? You repeat yourself.
If you had this conversation face to face with him, he won't have the courage to say what he's saying on this video to you in your face. He wouldn't. You know, that's just the way it goes.
And this is him scripted, dude. So, like, imagine what he's like face to face.
I mean, I assume it is. There's a couple of bits in the video where it sort of makes me doubt that it was scripted. It's either that or he's just a really shit at scripting and delivering scripted lines. But I'm assuming it's scripted. You would assume that. Just very quickly, I would say a very big thank you to JMac.
Oh, wow.
Memberships. So welcome to all those new members, and thank you very much to JMac for doing it.
We should do this super chat too that came in. We'll get to the super chats, of course, everybody. We really appreciate you. But a big one from our friend Toivo came in for $50. I don't have a casting couch prepared, but here's another game. Rank these quotes from least cringe to ultra cringe. I'm good. Definitely not Gandalf. This magic belongs to no boy from Wendy. Oh God. Yeah. That's called capitalism. But
you gotta say a British accent. The last one.
That's called capitalism.
Something in the water. Yeah.
Something in the water.
I love how everyone who watched Romulus roasted that dude.
Yeah, I'm going. I think this magic belongs to no boy is the ultra cringe one. That's called capitalism is the middle cringe, and shockingly, that means I'm good is the least cringe of all the cringe on screen at the moment.
Is that from Rings of Power? I'm good.
Yeah,
it is indeed.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm good. Instead of "You shall not pass," the Gandalf's the most epic line, one of the most epic lines in all of cinema. He literally is like, "I'm good," meaning I'm a good person.
Yeah,
like,
I'm a good
it's
guy.
like it's like written by a 4-year-old.
What's the context? Out of curiosity,
they thought he was bad, and then he said he's good. That's the
and that's the content.
Dude, no way.
That's filled you in on 2 seasons. It's atrocious. Watch fucking everyone's made videos on this shit. But that in particular, like, it's one of those things that you wouldn't believe. You'd think we're making this up unless you've seen it. Like, it's that bad.
Season 1 tries to it tries to make you think that he might secretly be Sauron, and so he has a couple of like moral debate conversations with one of the not hobbits about whether or not he's good, and he doubts that he's good. And then she turns up after he's been twatted on the head by something, I think, and she's basically like, "Hey, go kill these people for me." And he says, "Okay, I'm good," and then he kills them on her behalf. It's a little bit retarded.
It's I answered the same thing when someone asked if I actually wanted to watch Rings of Power. I was like, I'm good.
There's parts of it that, like, if you're gonna do it with friends and like beer and shit, that you'll probably like cry laughing. Like, just can't believe that they filmed this. But as a show, it's not worth watching.
What was I going to say? Is it? I wonder if he's going to review this video. Now that would be interesting.
Someone message him or comment on one of his
videos. This video's going to come out and he's going to review this video.
He would have to confront all the arguments that we provided, and we've seen how he does. Like, he's not going to listen.
Yeah,
one at a time, dude. Weird Twilight Zone headfuck territory, though, because like I think Organized Chaos and Rags went through one of those where Organized Chaos criticized Rags, Rags responded to Organized Chaos, Organized Chaos responded to Rags, responding to him, and Rags responded to Chaos, responding to him, responding to Chaos.
That's how I discovered him.
Goes.
And Kenobi is very, very good. That was the title of his video, and Rags was responding to it. Like, I have to check this out because there's just no way. Like, it's not going to be funny if that's the title. Yeah, he's one of the most disingenuous people on the entire platform. That dude.
Dang.
Chaos.
He was a candidate for like a video like this that we might like practiced with, but I just didn't want my ears to start fucking bleeding.
This for tune. This guy thinks he sounds.
He actually sounds like that.
That's what. He just sounds like.
Just listen. It's just. It's
sounds like
it's not good.
It's just he sounds like someone making an impression, a bad impression of a nerd. He's got an awful voice. I feel nothing about saying like he's genuinely.
I feel nothing.
I think he called me homophobic once, which was quite funny.
This is a guy that looked through Mahler's 5-hour video to try to find something sexist in it, and when he couldn't find it, he was upset. Like, he was deflated. Like, this is the type of person we're talking about. So.
Oh, God.
All right.
All he had to do was cruise through any of my videos, and he could have found something. And after this one, I wanted to get into. He discusses my Thor: Love and Thunder review.
I really want to see that.
Oh, yeah, I do.
I'm
too.
curious about that one too.
Yeah, let's see what he has to say a little bit more about my Black Phone review, though.
Therefore, any jump scare that there is in the movie is entirely unnecessary and is only for the audience to get a little spooked.
Of all the things to appreciate about the Black Phone, I think what I actually liked most was how
he
uncompromising it is.
He didn't give any examples, though.
He doesn't.
But it's also a strange argument to make even without examples. If he's saying
just
that
said, "Nuh-uh."
jump scares aren't story elements,
That's his whole
therefore
video.
jump scares aren't relevant to the story. But there are plenty of film techniques that you can use because you want to elicit the effect on the audience that aren't themselves story material. Like, any jump scare doesn't have to be, strictly speaking, a story element. It's an element that aids your reception of the story. So if his criticism is that jump scares are unnecessary because they're not part of the script or like the narrative part of the script, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
No. Well, Cynic said that jump scares, it was earned. So every jump scare in Black Phone was earned. And he said what? He said
"Nuh-uh," and
that's
moved
not
on.
true.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, because I feel like you
Yeah.
addressed it perfectly in what you said, and he's
Yeah.
basically just saying, "Nah." Like, there's just
Yeah,
there's
and
no
then
way
he-
to really deal with that. Like, what do you
Then
do?
he
And it's just-
rebutted with "nana nana poo poo."
Yeah, he just,
But he didn't give a reason
Like,
why
well,
he
you're wrong.
disagrees.
like, he may as well have just said that. Well, you're fucking wrong. Moving on.
No, but
And it's
hold
just
on.
like-
But again, he didn't give a reason why he disagreed with you, has he?
No,
Or
he
does
just
it-
moved
does it
right
come
on.
up?
I would
Oh,
like to
right,
say it
okay.
was like the 3-minute mark that I was saying, man, this is really the point in time where he should actually address his overall issue with the way you write, so we can have an overarching idea of what his problem is before we get to this point, because we're still
His
in the
problem is he doesn't like my opinions.
No. I think you're right. I think it all boils down to that. He doesn't like the way you say things, and he doesn't like your opinion, and that's what this video is all about.
I find him incredibly cynical that he disagrees with everything I say, whether I say something's good or bad.
That's kind of mean, bro. You're being mean.
It's kind of cynical, maybe.
A little cynical there, buddy.
You see how this just implodes in his face in so many ways, man. Like, can't even keep notes.
Pretty sure he'll disagree. I'm pretty sure.
I wasn't being cynical. You were. It's in your name.
Yeah,
like,
well,
that's what I'm saying.
Your positive reviews are wrong. That movie sucks. Oh, Jesus.
Well, you got a lot of people watching
The
this.
reality of life for these kids. The moments between characters feel legitimate and era appropriate. The dialogue feels like things people would actually say. Not that I like certain language or certain vulgarities, but the dialogue feels authentic and doesn't have modern morals retroactively plugged into a movie taking place in the 70s. People are awful. They say horrible things to each other that wouldn't fly today. And I appreciate that Derrickson decided to go the authentic route instead of pretending like 1978 was 2022.
I actually disagree with this point. Shocker, I know, but my problem with it is because a lot of movies set in this time period do this as well. It Chapter 2 did it, and basically the reason why I think It Chapter 2 does it better than this movie is because it has a direct tying to the plot.
What?
No, it's because he likes it. So I was directly referring to vulgar language they were using. I can't say it on the stream, but it rhymes with rag. And it worked because it's era appropriate. In it was a modern. It was taking place in the past, but it had a modern moral compass to it because they get their comeuppance.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I would suggest.
And also, you didn't call your video "Black Phone is better than It Too."
Yeah.
No, but hold on.
I'm just saying, like, that is what I like. That's what I liked about the Black Phone was it doesn't bring a modern moral compass to it. It just is.
Well, just go back to his explanation why he disagreed with you. I'm just trying to get it around my head. It doesn't make any sense. Can you play it back slightly?
It doesn't make sense at all. But
if I was summarizing it, he says, I disagree because Part 2 did it better.
No,
in which case you don't actually disagree, you just like a different version of the argument you agree with.
And also, Part 2 is the one that takes place in the modern times.
Yes.
It 1 is the one that takes place.
Yeah, this doesn't even apply to those movies. Like, it's just he's not paying attention to anything he's saying. And that movie sucks as well.
No,
like
I really need to hear it.
Like, I haven't seen this Black Phone movie, but I'm sure it's better than It Chapter 2.
It's a good film. Cynic, play his explanation.
Yeah, sure.
I just want to get it around my head. It doesn't sound right.
It was 2022.
I actually disagree with this point. Shocker, I know, but my problem with it is because a lot of movies set in this time period do this as well. It Chapter 2 did it, and basically the reason why I think It Chapter 2 does it better than this movie is because it has a direct tying to the plot. Richie gets called a slur or a derogatory name for a gay person, and he ends up actually being gay. In this movie,
what?
That happens in the first movie. He's referencing the second one.
I make a point here, and he talks about something else over here.
No, but hold on. The Part 2 was the modern day one.
Yes.
What is he talking about?
It's broken in so many ways. Part 2 is the modern day
flashbacks.
one, and he's referencing something that happens in the first movie as a point about the second movie. He's talking out his asshole. It makes no sense.
So he's also insinuating that Black Phone would have been better is if someone got called a slur, and at the end of the movie they flash forward 30 years, and someone was like, "Well, I'm actually that. I am that."
Just the end credit scene, him blowing it.
Yeah, a little teaser at the end.
It's so stupid.
Guys, Mom, Dad.
The funny thing about his whatever critique is there though is usually you can tell that the film is the dialogue is written with a modern sentiment when they do that. There's other modern movies that have done precisely. Oh, we called this person a word, sorry. And he ends up being that thing later on. I think I've seen that like a dozen times, but a movie from the 70s won't do that because it's just meant to be like another term for idiot or dumb. That's it.
How hard was it, out of interest, for you not to use the word? How hard?
It was pretty hard. I had N on the tip of my tongue.
I sent her a bar of soap. She's probably got it in her mouth.
I thought it was about to escape somehow. Yeah. But, But no, his point, his point is he doesn't actually disagree. He seems to prefer it if there is a direct A-plot payoff to any language that a character uses, which overlooks the fact that the way characters speak is absolutely integral if you are creating a period piece. It's the reason something like Bridgerton doesn't hold up next to something like fucking Pride and Prejudice, is that if you're recreating an old world, having people speak in that way makes all of the dialogue diegetic. That's part of world building. It doesn't have to tie in directly to an A-plot payoff, but it's still very important if the world you're creating or recreating is going to be believable. And he seems to be saying, well, there's the only point doing that is if, there's a plot payoff, but that all of world building falls by the wayside in that situation. So he's wrong.
But hold on, right? All due respect, mate, if you're watching, you're not making any sense. What you just said there didn't make any sense. I mean, I'm not being rude or anything.
No, it's an observation, straight up.
Listen to what you're saying.
You gave him everyone else was past it. You gave him a second chance. Like, let me just listen to this because it's not
exactly.
Right. You tried again, and it made even less sense. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to really reflect on this.
I mean, again, right? I don't mean to be insulting, sir, but
you're being fair.
You're not making any sense. I'm just, I don't know. Anyway,
Max, I thought you agreed with this guy. I thought you were here to defend him.
Okay. Sorry, let me go back. This guy is totally right, okay? Whenever someone says something in a movie, yes, it is supposed to pay off 100%. Otherwise, the dialogue is dumb. It doesn't make sense. It destroys immersion. And it also just really fucks with my own personal headcanon for the world, okay?
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
And I love he doesn't ever even engage with your point about it helped your immersion, the fact that they took it seriously and they weren't trying to, be soft because of modern times. Like, that's it. It's very simple. And he finds a way to just like you every single time and just bring it over to something that makes absolutely no sense and break his point even more by getting it wrong. He gets his own references wrong so much. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, you're literally like, I like the color blue, and he's like, no, green.
Like,
I actually disagree here. Green is the better color.
but that's what it comes across like, doesn't it? It's like he's very childish, isn't he? Like, he's going to disagree for disagreeing's sake. That's really, and he has got no logic to back it up. But anyway, maybe I'm missing something. Who knows?
Do you remember the age you were when you realized that everyone's favorite color wasn't the same as yours? Like, people have different favorite. Like, legit. I'm like half joking when I say this because I remember my mom telling me her favorite color was green, and I was just like, "Get out of here! Stop lying!"
But he's not even doing that. That's not even what's happening. This is like the equivalent of Cynic saying, "I really like the color blue in this movie," and he'll say, "Well, I disagree because I think the color blue is better in this movie."
Yeah.
That's the color blue, for fuck's sake.
It's not even shifting the goalposts. It's like going to a completely different stadium in a different state, and it's like, what are you doing?
And he'll reference a movie that doesn't have the color blue in it. He'll screw it up. He'll completely screw it up.
Yeah, he named the wrong movie.
He's so bad at this.
I don't know. I feel sorry for him, to tell you the truth, but it doesn't make. He's not making any sense.
He put this out for public consumption.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for him.
He did this himself. We didn't hack his computer and put it on here.
Okay.
He chose this. We're just looking at it.
They use, I think it's the exact same slur. I can't remember, but they use a similar word to Finney. But Finney doesn't end up being gay. The word ends up just being there for no reason, and there's no purpose to it other than someone just saying, oh, this movie is set in the 1970s. That means we have an excuse to say slurs.
Well, aren't you putting that on the writers, suggesting that they just want an excuse to say that word? That's that's really fucked up of you.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm focused on the part that he forgot. He doesn't even remember what word it was. The thing that is like his argument is based on this word.
I don't remember my argument.
He's the word. He's taking your argument completely out of context here as well as the other issue, because you've made it very clear it's meant as it's this time period, it's fitting, but he's taking it personally as like, oh, this is ideologically what the writers or what the cast believe in, which I want to live in his headcanon for a day. I'm so curious. I'm so curious.
Does he apply that stuff to other things in movies like murder? Or
right.
Any other, why did they pick and choose when it comes to
why didn't he apply that to Wanda, where I was suggesting perhaps
that would be an excuse then. There you go.
No, I think one of the biggest things in this video that I just hope we all remember is him saying that they didn't, like, the movie doesn't agree with Wanda, and then saying that it does, like 5 minutes later. The fact that he did that is like, that's the smoking gun right there.
No, the smoking gun's the beginning when he says that it's not an essay. That's the smoking gun. His whole start, the base of his argument falls apart because he's accusing Cynic of. Anyway, I give up. Just carry on, guys. Just carry on. Just makes no sense. None of it. Anyway.
You're a good sport, Mega Geek. Thank you, sir.
This is embodied best by Finney and Gwen's father, who's a complete bastard piece of shit that Derrickson somehow makes into a fully formed three-dimensional character, despite how horrible he is. You hate him, but also pity him, and that's the point.
I disagree with this because the first time we see Finney and Gwen's father, it's when he's beating the shit out of Gwen.
Right, which is why he's a bastard piece of shit. He's like,
what? Which part does he disagree with? He's
I'm
made
waiting.
Several points, man, and
like,
it ended with basically how you felt about it. So does it like? I don't know what he's disagreeing with almost ever.
Also, you said he's just a three-dimensional character. Like what?
Right, they give him more than just him being an evil bad person. There's if I remember correctly, he does something relatively heroic, and it's not you're supposed to look at him as more nuanced than just a bastard, and that's what I'm trying to say. That's it.
Which is bad and it's abusive, and I'm glad we all agree on that. However, the next time we see him is like a time where he's just calm and like talking to her nicely, which we haven't seen any development for. We don't know any reason why. I guess
because
that's not what he's referring to. You idiot.
The next time we see him, I was talking about his whole arc.
No, Sammy. Let it out. Join me.
Oh, man.
I was calling this guy a chimp and a Neanderthal like in the first 3 minutes. Like no one else should feel bad. I'll take it for the
God. He's got to be the worst critic ever in the entire universe. He really is bad.
Every comment had to be in chronological order, dipshit.
He really doesn't know what he's talking about.
No.
I actually feel sorry for him, actually. I mean, logic is just thrown away in what he's saying. Yeah.
I gotta say, I am curious about.
To be nice too.
I'm curious about his 3-hour Candace Owens video now that I see.
Has he got one?
Owens video? Oh god.
Oh no.
He said it needs to redraft, but redrafting won't fix like his broken premises and his dishonesty and like his entire approach to reviewing and his view of you. Like, there's so much wrong with this. I don't know what he'd have to fix.
Bring
it on. I would love this. I'd laugh my ass off on it.
This comment said he's coming across as purely contrarian.
Yeah.
Like every single thing I said is wrong.
I disagree with this. Like, just
shocker.
It's so much better when you make it crystal clear exactly what you're disagreeing with, and then at least try to make an argument rather than just leaving us in the dark. It's
it's almost like he's watching your video, and then when he finds something he disagrees with, he puts in his critique instead of watching the whole thing to see if you have given that. So when he says no, the next scene that the character's in, it was like, no, we were talking about the whole arc.
I was talking about his character arc, not just one scene to the next. Like,
so it was almost like he was doing that, and then he didn't go back and go, oh, he kind of touched on that later. No, it was it's very. I'm trying to put myself in his headspace, and it's getting confusing.
I'm confused.
So there, we got that.
Would you guys like to skip ahead to the Thor: Love and Thunder section?
Go for it.
Sure. Yeah.
I think we've gotten the gist of he's just gonna.
I want you to send me a copy of this video.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
what I want.
It's on YouTube.
Is it?
I'm positive. I'm positive. I'm pretty sure I know all the reasons that he's gonna rip on you for Top Gun Maverick. Like you applauding that, and he's like, just the particular praises that you gave that film, and him going, well, that doesn't actually make it a good movie. Here's why it could be bad. When there's
I like the impression.
I'm trying my best. It's a little bit of Tommy Chong, and it's also like the computer from Team America. Sorry.
It might even be something
hey,
simpler than that, though. It could be something like Cynic would say, "Hey, Tom Cruise is in this movie and he does a really good job," and he'd say, "I disagree because Tom Cruise is also in this other movie and I think he does a better job."
Yeah, he was
I
better
don't
in
think
Collateral,
you should have
so I don't
divorced
agree with
Nicole Kidman.
Sammy, could you read Dildo Gaggin's comment in that voice, please?
Hang on.
Hold on. Either you die a hero or live long enough to become a dildo.
That's hilarious.
You nailed it.
Shocker.
Oh my god. All right, let me find this. Oh, he 5 times speeds my
5.
Damn.
Well, that's because he doesn't want. Jesus, it's so obvious.
In
what
this
he's
video,
doing.
Just in case
still under an
someone
hour.
can make out an objective point even when it's muted. You know what I mean? He wants to make sure it's fast enough to skip it for the people who are paying
God.
attention.
Yeah,
Wow.
he wants to just cherry pick what he wants to argue about in my videos instead of engaging with them. It's odd. Just don't engage with them.
Very odd. Yeah.
I think we're here, but then he just 5x speeds this thing. So
What he says about it.
no, I said Thor: Love and Thunder's like sucking a fart out of an ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Accurate.
I
Actually,
think
fart
that's
out of an
like-
ass would be nicer.
Actually, I've done that, and there's nothing like that.
I totally disagree. Yeah. Honestly. Last one was 5, full speed. Now this is 5.
What's wrong with this movie now?
It's just rude.
Okay.
He could have just made 4 separate videos with
Yeah,
what he's doing.
I
here.
highly doubt you cut to a meme in those scenes unless you were ending on a point of some kind. Why would you have done that? There's probably so many things you just skipped over there.
Mm-hmm.
Lies. Liar, dude.
Okay, Victor. Yeah, he's definitely does sound like number 15.
Articulate what's wrong with this movie now.
Finally!
Pretty much.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was his meme he threw in there.
Oh wow.
The sick burn he was aiming for there is because he skipped most of your video at 5 times speed. He cut
And
to
now
you
he's
saying,
making-
"Now I can explain what's wrong with this movie," and he says, "Oh, finally," which kind of implies that the preceding, however long it was he cut out, had no bearing at all on
Which
you
is
explaining why the movie's bad. Which I don't
bullshit.
believe.
This is
No.
interesting.
I remember making this video, and it's a great basis for how I make a lot of my videos. I go through the plot and I mock the plot, but you're learning what my critiques are through my mockery. You know what I mean? Like I'm going through the plot and I'm pointing out, well, this was, this might be ridiculous because of X, Y, and Z, and then move on to the next plot point and so on and so forth. So a lot of my critique has been completely skipped.
That's just like my
okay.
videos, man. It comes down to tone. If you say it in a certain way, or you say mocking way, or you're insulting, the point that you're making just gets skipped over by a lot of people. The reason we do it is it's going to be people who appreciate both the delivery and the point that's being made. He skips all over it.
People said that about my Crow video, where they were like, "Well, you didn't actually say what you didn't like about the film. You just gave us the plot." And I was like, "I
gave you the plot because I dissect the plot as I go in an entertaining way. This is a fucking video essay where it's supposed to be entertaining, not just like boring as fuck."
It's providing proof. It's not just it's not just Batman clips. Like he can't relate. There's so many reasons why he can't relate to these things. Like,
so hold on. So he speeds it up so that we can't hear what you say or your critique over this film.
What he has issue
and
with.
Then, and then we're gonna have to take his word for it.
Basically, yes.
Over your.
You have to take it on faith because he chucked a meme in there. You have to take it on faith that Cynic said nothing worth responding to in the majority of his video, and that's the point he's trying to make.
I remember
the only way this could have been more disingenuous is if he kept playing it at 5 times speed and then paused it and went, "Actually, I disagree with this."
he probably does that later in the video.
He's hoping that nobody will actually watch Cynic's things and therefore come to the conclusion that what he's saying is right. That's exactly what he's doing.
This only works for people who already don't like you and just want to hear someone rip into you.
That's
not paying attention.
That's
just
how
like,
I feel.
Just like he's not paying attention. Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, that's
he's
how
weird.
Well, let's see what he does have to say about something I actually said.
Yes, an articulate way of describing this film is it fucking sucks. Just everything about it. No, it's not just me being fed up with watching actors walk around against a green screen with obvious CGI surroundings during every single
There's a critique right there.
scene.
It's
No,
also a bit
it's
of a
not
concluding
just that
point.
I'm tired of superhero films appearing like they're off an assembly line. No, I'm not just tired of bait and switch bullshit. I'm tired of terrible fucking writing. I'm tired of it.
So now we successfully have acquired a thesis. That is that the movie is bullshit, which isn't a very good thesis, frankly.
Or that the writing's terrible. I see the writing is terrible. You're going to completely skip over that.
Yeah, you gave multiple points. The writing's terrible. There's bait and switch.
It's like an assembly-lined main movie where everything is just kind of the same as the last movie you've seen.
Well, he's confused your conclusion with what he is calling your thesis, and I don't think he understands what either of those words means. But what you're doing there is summation. It's not laying out your argument for the first time. He skipped the bit where you're laying out your arguments. And now he's saying that your conclusion is the first time you've addressed your thesis, which again is just bad form. And this is why you should watch people's videos before you respond to them.
Well, it's like going to see a movie and just turning up when the end credits are playing. It makes no sense. What he's doing doesn't make any sense. You know, if you're going to criticize something, it's best to hear both sides. You know, but he's not. Yeah. Jesus Christ, man, this guy's no logic. Anyway.
But there's a lot of people like him on YouTube. Like none of this is shocking to me. Like as someone who's been
me
watching
it
these for years, I've seen so many of these. They're out there.
It is kind of representative, sadly, of like a few of these I've seen because I know a couple of people did once like my Godzilla video, I think it was, and I did do most of a response video while I was sick to one of them because it was just funny and very similar to this video. He basically he listens to the first 9 minutes, actually agrees with most of what I've said, but thinks that he's disagreeing. And then concludes he can't be bothered to do anymore. And it's like, well, so you've made a mockery of yourself. You've agreed with everything that I've said, and then you've given up before the actual video really starts. So it's not much of a response video. And here you are being all outraged about it when evidently you didn't understand the thing you're angry about. Lots of people do this kind of thing. And I do suspect it's partly why their channels don't take off all that well, is that they are not particularly good at doing it, because you could make a rough kind of argument out of the material, some of the material he's got here, but he'd have to stick to what he would call a thesis. If his main criticism is this isn't what makes for a good video essay, then that's the argument he should be making all the way through, rather than just cherry picking individual bits from different critiques of different movies and saying, well, I don't like this bit because I didn't listen to it, and so therefore it's bad. That's not how you do this kind of thing. Get better or stop it.
And I think the fact that he doesn't even get his own references right almost ever, that says so much about even the most unreasonable person you could think of usually will get their bullshit references correct in order to counter someone in a snobby way. But this guy can't even get that part right. It's just strange. It's a failure on all fronts.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
dear.
Play a little bit more here.
Argumentable claims, so that is at least something. And he also has exactly one supporting argument, which is that it's written very badly, which he will elaborate on.
No, that's not the supporting argument. You skipped the supporting argument. That's the 5x speed thing.
Oh, no.
I can't believe he said that. It took me a second to even process what just happened. I'm like, wait a minute. Dude, 5x speed. You can't. Words have meanings, my friend. Like, you can't come on the internet and just gibberish.
Sorry, mate. You gotta go back and watch it properly rather than speed it up 5 times and see your last bit. It's ridiculous.
You want more than one, and he almost did this by listing off a bunch of things that he didn't like. But since he's not going to elaborate on any of them,
but how do we know?
Just no.
How do we know if we hadn't seen it? If you speed it up five times, how do we know?
Null and void.
As I usually warn if it's warranted, this review/video essay.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
This review/video essay.
That's right, because you described what a video essay was, and it's exactly what I fucking made.
It applies to everything we've seen here, my friend. Where's your
Hold on, guys. I think he's going to contradict himself.
Are we ready?
Shocker.
This review/video.
Oh my god!
essay.
Holy
Well,
shit!
there you go. It's not just a bad title. He legitimately thinks that these are video essays.
But they are.
Jesus.
They are. You know, you've just defined it in the beginning of this video, and that's exactly what it is.
You have failed, sir.
I'm going to put my hands right here to keep my head from fucking exploding at this point.
It's crazy.
I feel so sorry for this guy. I really do. I mean, come on. You know, it's just basic logic here. Just serious. Oh my god.
Well, we're
All right,
almost
I'm ready,
at
I'm
our
ready.
2-hour mark here, so we don't have to.
Yeah, we should probably
Go
start
ahead.
making these versions of the streams should probably have to be longer, I think. There's no way we're going to get through.
Yeah, there's
Like a
no
50-minute video in
fucking
2
way.
hours is not possible.
God.
As soon as I saw that time code, I was like, "What's the plan, boys?" We're gonna have something. The EFAP didn't name that shit every favorite pause by by accident.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna have things to say about, especially when you have people like this. It's fascinating how out of touch with reality they are.
Yeah,
But that's
well,
why I
maybe
said send me
next
this,
time we
I
pick like a
definitely got
10-minute one that we do or something.
Yeah, this one's quite long.
Or we could break this one up into installments, I guess.
I'm loving this video. He's got so much.
This is
he's
bringing
boosted
it, right?
my serotonin levels right now. In all honesty, I'm loving this.
You know what? I'd be really surprised if he came back with a video saying, you know what? These people were right about my video.
Yeah, some self-reflection. That'd be incredible.
Yeah, on reflection. Yeah.
No, it'll never happen. Not on this platform.
You know, it'll be
BSUP
look
is
how
a bad
mean these
live
people are to
stream.
me.
What is a live stream? Well,
The definition of a live stream. Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, you're right. That's what he'll do.
Oh no.
But when I watched it, it wasn't live. So
There we
you
go.
know,
Gotcha.
Christ.
The movie
Christ.
opens with the first of its 2 in total good moments, with Christian Bale's Gore comforting his daughter as they both lay dying of starvation and dehydration in some desert world. He prays to his god, whoever the fuck, for help.
I like that this was before you gave a shit about getting rid of like the one expert
One
logo
bet
in the
that-
corner.
oh,
I
yeah.
don't give a fuck.
I don't give a shit. It got past copyright.
I
What?
fucking went for
Say
it. And this video has 1 million views. So here we go.
Right.
They didn't bang me at all because YouTube was like, "Oh, this makes us money, so
You
we'll
gotta
just
do
let
what you
go."
gotta do, man.
Yeah. Hey, I paid and went and saw the movie in IMAX beforehand.
You saw it in IMAX?
I
At
did.
least
I
you got a
lived next to
proper
an
mic.
IMAX, so I went and
Oh
saw it.
my
I actually
God.
remember being excited about this movie and then walking out going, "What the fuck?"
You were excited for this?
Samesies.
Dude, at the time, yeah. Like
You
this
knew it
is
was gonna
when
be bad.
so this was around this was
No.
right after Multiverse of Madness, and I was like, well, that was a piece of shit, but Spider-Man No Way Home came out a few months ago, and that was good. So
Yeah, this is also after Fat Thor, though. I was just like, okay, they've lost the plot with this character. Like, what are they gonna do? Like,
Yeah, but
you wanna
they
see
address
Fat
it. They
Thor
show him
Part
working
2?
out. You know.
Literally, they basically show that it was a horrible idea by just slapping in that workout montage. That's what that
Can
was.
That's all you,
can I
that's
ask
the
an
sad part. That's all you need.
Oh,
Can,
God.
can I ask an honest question though, Cynic? At what point while you were sitting in the IMAX theater did all hope just drain from you?
Right
I love the
right
question.
here. When you see the god that kills him.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
goofy looking god. It falls
Okay.
apart within like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
movie's few bright spots.
Why was
Christian
the
Bale
sword there?
is the shit.
That's what
There
I
is
say.
such
Oh
video
fuck, I got so
essay.
excited. I
And as he
fucking
usually-
That's what I said in the video.
Why is the fucking sword
sword
there?
get there?
This is like, it's like a nuke just sitting in your office. Like, why would you? Why is it there, bro? Like, explain
God, that's
yourself.
thank you, Jedi. That's exactly what I
Yes.
fucking say. I was like, oh yeah, I love plot contrivances or something along those lines.
does.
Why do you look like
Gives it
Play-Doh?
his
They look
own.
so
Then
demented.
The shit writing comes in immediately. Nothing annoys me more than plot contrivances.
It's true.
Well, after Gore's daughter dies, an oasis appears near him and he finds his god he was praying to just sitting there, eating grapes and shit with some flower folk. There's a random dead body, and the god conveniently tells Gore that the random body was a guy out to kill him. And the guy could
Why?
have done it too.
I can't
because
believe
the
you got
spooky
away with this
black
much
sword
footage in
lying
here.
next to him.
Bro, I went fucking hard on this.
This is probably chopped to shit, isn't it?
Oh yeah. You ready?
Sliced.
has the ability to slay gods. Gore's like, hey, would have been nice if you helped me. You're my god. I devoted myself to you. And the god's like, fucking nope, I don't help losers. Then the god gets mad that Gore doesn't like him being a dick, and in a tussle, Gore grabs the sword that conveniently happens to be laying there, that conveniently can kill gods, that the god conveniently told Gore about before telling him to get fucked, and Gore kills the god. See where I'm going here?
Brilliant.
This is one of 1,000 plot contrivances that just absolutely kills my fucking soul.
Sorry about the long clip, but way to fucking do everything wrong. Like,
Ooh.
where do I even start?
No, stop. I want to hear this. I want to hear it. Go on.
I have to.
I want to hear it. Go on.
With this, I guess I should compliment first off that I do like the fact that he is at least bringing up something that he likes in the movie. It's nice to have that kind of...
He hasn't brought up one thing he likes.
Where he's
That's
gonna.
true.
Covered,
Not one.
he's covered 2 whole videos of yours, which are nothing but nice things in the movie. How is this surprising to him?
Doesn't
He just
matter.
got done covering a praise video.
No, Platoon, his name has Cynic in it, so you're wrong.
Oh,
So therefore, yeah.
kind of thing in a video that's mostly negative, and it's good that he's at least giving the time of day to actually explain some good stuff about it. That's always nice. Unfortunately, as for literally everything else that he said, I can't really get behind it because there's a lot wrong with this assessment and with a lot of what's being said here. First off, for video...
First of all, I'm sure he's going to say exactly what Dave, I believe, said in the
I want to
in the
hear
chat
it.
here. The sword drew Gore to it, right? Yeah.
I want to hear it. Go on.
Why was it there?
Why
in the
was it
first
there?
place to draw him to it?
Listen,
Why does
give
it
him a
exist?
chance. Give him a chance. I want to hear what he has to
Yeah,
say.
isn't it fucking convenient that that sword was just there? Isn't that just?
It's
He
one of the
might
most
beat Cynic.
convenient things that's ever happened in a movie, Cynic.
He might beat
still
Cynic this
stupid.
time. He might. Come on, play. He might.
Let's go.
I say
Let's
it's
see it.
typically not the best idea to go like scene by scene in the movie because
not?
that only ends up making your arguments more disjointed.
What do you mean? How
repeating
can we-
one
what?
thing.
What are you talking about?
Actually, breaking down the fucking movie makes it
How
more
is that
disjointed.
possible?
What are you talking about?
Going scene by scene makes it more
Yeah.
disjointed. This happened on planet Earth, folks.
No,
This
it's
happened.
much better to draw
We're done.
conclusions in the middle
Everyone,
of it.
just
dipshit.
delete your channels. We're not doing any. We're not making a change.
I thought he was going to come up with something great, but
Yeah.
my hope is dashed.
No, I much rather Tarantino my reviews, and I review the ending first, and then I started the rising action, and then
That's the stupidest thing he said in this whole video. Like that.
It
That's
might be.
everything.
The best part of that critique is that for 2 of your videos, he fast forwarded through all of them because none of that mattered. But now that you've taken the time to show scene by scene, now
It's making it disjointed.
says this guy. This guy in particular says that something is disjointed. Is
No,
quite
this-
funny.
This video's the chosen one, man. Like, where do you find
Yeah,
this
this-
guy?
this is
Mate, come on.
This video is
Holy
it.
shit.
Oh, mate,
Got
come
it
on.
all.
Jeez.
all right.
But if just describing the plot of something makes it seem disjointed, that's probably a problem with the plot that
The
you're
plot.
describing.
Yeah.
He hasn't
no.
thought about these things, man.
No, man.
Oh
I
my
thought he was
God.
going to have a strong point, and he just let me down.
No.
Maybe he will. Maybe there's still
That's
time.
even-
Geek was,
That is
you
1,000
were
times
anticipating
funnier,
my
yes.
downfall.
Yes,
You were
Mega Geek gave
anticipating-
him a chance again, and then he said one of the
Again, yeah,
stupidest
man.
things I've ever heard in my life.
after he said that he felt sorry for him.
Yeah, exactly. Just let me down, man.
It's so incredible,
Mate,
man.
what's going on?
Oh man.
Oh,
I hear the
God, mate.
Beatles song playing right now, man. Don't let me down.
Oh.
Yep.
All right.
And it just makes it kind of seem unorganized. Two, the clips that he's showing and
How would
the
you
stuff that
organize
he's
it then?
describing don't go very well. You see, there's a problem with his clips where he's like,
You see, there's copyright claims that you have to deal with when you're not playing fucking Batman over and over.
Yeah,
Well, that's not even true because like the only visuals you used were
Were
the
from-
actual bits from that movie. Like
Yeah.
the surprise for
not-
me was that you could get away with using that
Yeah.
much footage without being struck by copyright.
It doesn't describe the scenes that you broke down whatsoever. You were literally speaking about one specific scene, chronological order. There's no way for it to be disjointed unless the movie is fucking shit, and he won't ever address that part of it.
I'm interested if you're talking about Gore turning up and there being a god and there being a sword, and he gets the sword and he kills the god, and you use footage of Gore showing up and he meets the guard and he finds the sword and he uses the sword and he kills the guard. What exactly of those visuals shouldn't be there and what should be there instead?
Don't worry, it's disjointed. Just trust me.
Platoon, you just said a bunch of gobbledygook. I don't know.
Yeah, what are you talking about here?
Just trust me, bro. It makes no sense. So I bet
I disagree with you.
What the hell? What the hell?
Okay, you know what? I'm going to stand by my boy Cribby here, okay? To be fair, it is disjointed that you used bootleg footage and left the website on the top right corner.
No, that's ballsy.
Leave him be.
I disagree with that, okay? It was more ballsy.
I'm a man of culture. I use 1xBet.
Oh, dear.
If you put the blender dude in there, I wouldn't even like shame you. Okay, have him in there. A freeze frame of the blender man.
This video is disjointed because what is the blender man doing in a video about Thor? Like that's an inappropriate visual.
That's unironically something he would say. Like he would just, oh my god.
What is Cynic doing in a video about Batman? Is what I want to know.
Look, maybe he will elaborate and substantiate his point with what is coming next. Let's give him another shot.
I'm hoping.
Give him a shot.
Oh, the sword that conveniently is just laying there, when that's not really exactly true. The sword appears and then actually calls out to him and...
No! Chat was right!
Holy shit.
Chat was right! Dave, you were correct.
Because it's the only fucking take, it's the only defense that these people can pretty much make. It's the what else is there? But it doesn't apply to what happens in the scene. There's nothing like you're gonna have a weapon of that's that powerful. It needs to have a whole lore, like the whole movie should be about this thing. You know what I mean? You can't just have like kryptonite in Superman's sock like in the beginning of the movie. Like you can't just do these things. And the fact that he doesn't understand why that's an issue is so frustrating to watch. Like, because it's like, is this just him trying to be contrarian, or does he actually not understand? Like, that's retarded.
I think his whole thing is based on not liking Cynic and not liking what he says, because he's making no sense here. He's making
saying you can only take that so far. You can't like.
He's taking it further than you all think.
You know he's saying things that you shouldn't. A functioning human should not say. If you could log onto YouTube and make a video, you shouldn't have these beliefs. Oh man!
You just answered your own question. He's not functioning.
There it is. There it is. You know what? You're right.
I thought you was going to get us there. I thought he was, but hope's dashed again. Hope's dashed.
I like that you said us. Like we're a team. It's not we're in this together.
Appears like in his hand. So no, it's not convenient. It's just how the movie works.
Is he saying it's not convenient?
It's not convenient. It's just how it was written.
Okay.
It's not. He's also implying it's not convenient because it didn't appear in his hand. He had to reach for it.
He didn't even reach for it. It floated into his hand.
Right,
like,
his hand,
you know what I'm saying? Like
it slowly made its way into his hand, but it was like it didn't show up immediately into his hand. It slowly rose out of the ground directly where his hand was. So,
I think what he doesn't understand is that this powerful weapon that can kill gods is just lying there.
Yes.
That's what he doesn't understand. Yes. What is the reason for it just lying there?
The setup.
And
if
that guy, it's just convenient, isn't it?
If that same god had the sword hidden in some dungeon under his castle, and we got to see a montage of Gore breaking into it, that would have made sense. But there would have been a story behind it. They could have done so much more, and we could have got much more from the character where he acted his ass off. We got nothing from it. Instead, it's just fucking sitting there.
Yeah,
like, what are we supposed to do with that? You compare that to any other weapon in a movie, and it's just like it would never happen, man.
Somehow the Emperor has returned.
And if it was sitting there, it would have to be a significant part of the plot, like the ring.
That's right.
Right?
And it can't just be the sword according to him, because he has to be in the right place at the right time to stumble across the oasis, to find the god who's just happens to have recently killed the guy who just happened to have had the sword, and just happens to have the conversation with the correct god, and the sword happens to be there, and it happens to be the right sword, and the sword happens to be able to fly into his hand, and he gets to kill the god that he's been after. So it's not just the convenience of the sword being there. It's how he knows where the there is to begin with.
Yeah.
That's
And he
also
wouldn't-
massively convenient.
He wouldn't have been searching if his daughter hadn't died. So that was a part that had to happen as well. Like this whole chain of events that just like leads to this nonsense. And it's like it's one of the best examples of a movie breaking within the opening scene of just how do you even take this seriously, especially when you know how strong of
it's
an
more
actor he is.
and then instead of because.
Yeah.
And that's
We haven't even we haven't even talked about Thor in this fucking Thor movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I had so much to say about that, but we're stuck on. He can't even get past the sword. It's crazy.
Cynic saw it in bloody IMAX.
Oh, you sick puppy!
all right, we got we got to tackle this.
We do.
Do it.
At least I got the popcorn too, by the way.
Yeah,
I got
all right.
the special bucket.
Okay.
Plot contrivances or argue them in a video essay, because typically when you do that,
Wait, did he just say I can't argue plot contrivances in a video essay?
I think
Probably.
so.
That's stupid.
Hang-
So
all right.
probably said it.
All right, hang on. Let me hear this.
it's just how the movie works. Thirdly, it's really hard to do plot contrivances or argue them in a video essay, because typically when you do that, a lot of people get turned off. Every movie has a plot contrivance.
Oh god! Okay, wrap it up, folks. What's up? That's it. It's over. It's not.
So it's not a contrivance, but also it is a contrivance, and it doesn't matter that it's
shouldn't
a
argue
contrivance because all the movies have them, so you shouldn't point them out.
Wow.
No.
Are we done here today?
It feels
holy
like
shit.
it.
Wow. I think he just put a fucking rubber stamp and mic drop on this video.
Can we have a debate on what's the stupidest comment? Because like I think the last one like stunned me more, but this one pretty much ended. Like you can't possibly hold that opinion and then have me listen to anything that you have to say and take you seriously. Like nothing matters with that. Nothing. But why talk about anything? Why even discuss any aspect of a film if it's over? It's broken. Why even discuss? I feel like all the things we did teasing this guy. You know, I don't think we were harsh. I think it was accurate, man. Just the observation of like someone who just out of touch with reality and desperate to apply his narrative to anything, even if it makes no fucking sense, even if he doesn't get his own references right, even if he contradicts himself. It's like everyone learn from this and don't be this guy. Like it's just I can't stand that these people exist. It frustrates me.
Is it possible he's for the agenda? It does feel that way. I don't know.
Probably. Looking at his other videos, most likely.
Yeah, I think he's for it completely and utterly. So,
Whoa,
dude, mate,
we can
seriously.
My head hurts.
Yeah.
I think you should invite him on. In all honesty, this guy would be great on a
Bring him
panel.
on.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that would be great. That would be great.
Oh, where is he at, man? Like,
my
what
goodness.
in the hell? Because it's just there's certain lines where like it's like, okay, you've broken your entire can't listen to anything.
I kind of want to listen to a little bit more.
Okay.
Do you? Do you?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Listen some more.
Okay, let's see if he makes sense.
arguing
It gets
that
worse.
this movie has a lot of them is kind of void, because every movie has them. The movies you like have them, and therefore that just opens you up for more criticism.
Yeah, let's talk about them.
You can definitely argue that it gets overbearing.
I thought you just said we can't.
Yep.
Flip flopping
Like literally 20 seconds ago, you just said we can't argue it.
But doing
we
it
can.
like this is not
No,
the best.
well, you
idea
can.
with
You
the-
Oh,
can.
so now there are ways to argue it.
Yeah,
But you
you're
can't.
just not allowed.
You're not allowed, Cynic, specifically.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Holy fuck. Okay. I'll let it play for more than 5 seconds, I swear.
condescending tone, it doesn't really work out well. Fourth, why would the god not tell Gore about the sword?
Because
he
it can
thinks
kill
of him
him?
as such a lower being that it doesn't even cross his mind that Gore could even wield the necro.
It doesn't cross his mind that the god
That's
killing
headcanon.
sword can kill the god? Like, are you shitting? You can't seriously say like that doesn't make
Breathe.
any sense whatsoever, dude.
Bad
Breathe.
writing. It's
Yeah,
bad
the
writing.
remarkable thing about that sword is that it is one of the rare implements in the universe that can actually kill gods. So you would expect that a god might take the presence of that sword uniquely seriously, as opposed to any other kind of weapon that might just happen to be lying around. So the fact that the god knows what the sword is and is still so nonchalant about it, despite it being one of the only things that can actually hurt him,
and he
is
upsets
only possible
the
because the
guy.
character hasn't been developed. That god character isn't a character, so fuck it, we can have him be as careless as we want to. Why not?
No, it's like that scene in I can't remember which Marvel movie where Thanos like slips over an Infinity Stone. And they start playing the Benny Hill theme song in the background. You guys remember that one?
God, I just
no.
I don't know. No, nothing.
Oh my God.
Just don't understand this man.
All right, a little bit more.
Yeah,
a little bit more.
Sword. Why would he be afraid to tell him about it? Wouldn't make much sense.
Thor finds Lady Sif, and what could be a heartfelt scene between longtime friends and warriors is flatlined and undercut by a shitty joke, just like every scene in this goddamn movie.
This is a perfectly valid opinion you can have about the movie. I don't personally agree with it myself, seeing as I quite actually like the tone. But I can see why some people would be turned off by it. However,
oh my God, that's a genuine
problem is that
criticism.
Many people have already made this argument. Many people have already said this exact same thing.
So because other people said it, I can't say it too?
Yeah, more than one person has noticed that the jokes in Thor: Love and Thunder are shit. And therefore, there's no point you saying it because
this movie probably taught people about tone. Like they probably started learning and paying attention to tone because of this movie, because they've never seen a character get undercut by humor like this before. It's just it's just a lot of kids, I'm sure, started paying attention to this much more because of this stupid movie.
It's so weird going back and listening to this too, because I've gotten so much better at my job.
My boy Cribby, listen, okay, he's just like, he's got a little bit of the fetal alcohol syndrome, okay, but really all he's saying is that he wants you to make a new point instead of the same point everyone else is making.
That he's heard, right? Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Even
so
if it's
he just
accurate.
wants you to be unique, bro. Like, have a voice.
Somehow I don't think he's saying that, but that's one point I guess he's got, because he actually made a little criticism. So, you know.
He might have been on the road to that.
Yeah.
All right,
interesting.
Exact same way that this guy has just said it. When it comes to video essays, the point of your video essay should be to stand out, not to be exactly like everyone else. If
so a new definition. A new definition right at the end.
New rules.
A new challenger emerging.
You cannot
like,
make the same argument that other people have observed. You cannot reiterate a point I've heard before.
Yeah.
I would think that if you've heard a point enough, it means that it's most likely, you know,
he's a good point.
He's basically saying you're right. He's basically saying you're right, but I don't want to give you credit for this because I've heard
pretty
it
much. And he did take umbrage early with the fact that you called this video a review/video essay. Like if the point of your video essay, you'd started out by saying, I am not going to review the whole movie. I'm just going to talk about one thing I've noticed that nobody else has. And then you didn't do that, then he might have a point. But the fact is, it's also a review. If you hadn't mentioned the tone, which is one of the biggest problems with the movie, it would fail as a review because you're not being comprehensive about one of the major flaws with the film. So like, he's not wrong that you should have a unique angle at some point, but the video isn't obliged to only say brand new things that no one else has ever observed ever.
Any video that I click, why would I watch yours out of the 600 other people that made this exact same point in the exact same way?
You did.
But you did. And then you wanted to make a video about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Some sort of unique tone.
Yeah,
by the way, that wasn't the only point of his video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it's a 17-minute video I made on this movie. It's not the only point.
Oh, I don't know.
Apparently, Lady Thor is immediately as badass as regular Thor, despite his thousands of years of battle experience, because girl power.
This is another point that just isn't true, and I'm kind of tired of the whole Mary Sue argument.
Yeah, he's definitely for definitely for the agenda. He's definitely for the agenda.
There it is. You triggered him with that one. Because he's got nothing against her. She was stronger than him. Thor was jealous of her. The little girl was like looking up to her. She was badass in that scene out of nowhere. It doesn't make any sense.
And Thor lost at the end of this film, as I recall. He didn't win anything at the ending, and he ends up looking after, I can't remember, what the kid or something like the ending.
Gore's
so, you know, there you go.
Oh, he's tired of the Mary Sue argument because he can't counter it. It's just that simple.
point just does not work on a fundamental level. Thor was first given Mjolnir at the start of Thor 1. This is his first time ever getting it, and within a couple of hours of him receiving it, it gets taken away, blah, 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 and then as soon as he picks it up again, he's an expert on it.
That's not true at all.
Taken away from him in like the second scene in the movie, isn't it?
Yeah, but
he has it
He's
before.
about to be king of Asgard.
For all we know, he was using it for
said that he's had it.
Yeah.
Even in Odin's speech, he was like, "From millennia, you have had Mjolnir. It is a hammer. Like it's a fit tool for a king because it's a weapon to destroy, but a tool to build."
Yeah.
Like they talk that he's had Mjolnir for a long
time.
Has it in the opening scene.
The point is that he gets it taken away from him because he needs to learn a lesson. He didn't just give it and go, "Okay, give it back."
How could he have had that reputation if he didn't have that weapon that entire time to
Yes.
get that reputation? It's like you just all of his references make no sense. How do you do this? How?
He fundamentally got the first Thor completely wrong.
He's just wrong. He was wrong about Thor. He's wrong about it. He's wrong about like every reference he comes up with. It's like he should just like coin flip at this point. He should get one of them right. Like
pack it up, dude.
So if you want to argue this, you have to argue it for the first movie as well.
So do you. You can't argue.
Wrong, man.
You can't argue the wrong point, sir.
Fucking Jesus.
You can't, because like the major difference between those two movies, in the first movie, Thor is deemed unworthy to hold the hammer. In the second movie, she gets the hammer and keeps it and is never unworthy of anything. It actually goes to her, doesn't it? Because I mean, it's been so long since I've seen it. Doesn't it find her because
it flies
she's
to her,
dying of the big old sea? And so, and then she ends up being morally worthy all the way through. She's never criticized for anything. She's never lacking the power. She just becomes more and more powerful over time until eventually she's powerful enough to beat everyone with one of those horrifically cringy lines when she says like something. It's not Lady Thor. It's what is it? She says it's
Dr. Jane Foster.
That's the one.
Something like that. Yeah. And if it's just something unbelievably cringy that she probably like cried in the shower after having that line. Like it's just terrible, man. I don't know what she's thinking.
This guy's definitely for the agenda.
So Cynic, I hate to ask you this, but I know we're wrapping up here. Do you think you'll ever make another video essay again after you've been called out?
I think I think I'm gonna quit my job.
You mean thoroughly shred, man?
Yeah, I will not. You need to find a new co-host, Little Platoon.
Oh no!
I wish you luck on your next venture, and
you know what will heal you, Cynic? If you start adding video essay at the end of your titles again.
I think I'm gonna start it again because I took them away because like the number of characters you use really mattered, at least at the time, and all this stuff, and I found that the simpler the better, the less wordy the better. But I do believe I should start adding it back in.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Let's wrap this up.
Sure.
Let's take him off the screen.
That's what you meant by wrap it up.
Yeah. What are our conclusions? What have we learned about how we should and shouldn't approach the subject of video essays and incidentally response videos as well?
Well, first of all, you've got to have logic when you're reviewing anything, which he doesn't seem to have. And secondly, he's got to learn about the word essay. So apparently he did in the beginning of the video, right? And he just ignored that as well. So those are the two things. And again, logic was missing from his argument. So there you go.
I think we've all learned that it's nice when special needs children finally get confidence.
Oh, God.
I think that's the lesson we can take. They are people too, and they deserve their place in society.
I think it's a reminder of no matter how good of an argument you construct, no matter how many visuals you put to support your argument, some motherfucker is just gonna ignore you and say "nuh-uh" and just fucking move on. You know what I mean? It's always gonna happen, no matter what, to the end of time. So,
That's what always happens.
It's just it's a part of being a YouTuber, and you have to have thick skin. Like you can be bulletproof and still face it. Just deal with it.
I learned that chat is absolutely brutal. They are brutal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. God damn. Mm-hmm. Any other lessons?
No, I learned you're wrong because nana nana poo poo. That's about it.
Pretty much.
Oh, God.
My main takeaway.
Yeah. Don't ×5 speed past people supporting arguments and then say they don't have them.
Exactly.
Don't accuse people of being disconnected when you haven't even connected 3 of your neurons together at any point during the course of the video. Find a thesis that you want to argue and argue that point and use comparisons and use the relevant clips and make sure all your arguments hark back to that first one. All the usual basic stuff. And don't ever fall back for the, well, I don't like it because I don't.
Don't ever say nothing matters in the story because other stories are bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jesus.
And for fuck's sakes, get your references right if you're gonna make a counter. Like that's so embarrassing, dude. You don't even know what movie you're talking about. Like come on. Like this is
just blatant misuse of the information that.
Like you can't look at this and say I disagree. No, you were wrong on your references. You need to learn from that. And like if you want to be spiteful, even if you don't like Cynic, you can be better at not liking Cynic than this.
That is true.
Do better at not liking Cynic.
Yeah, do better, bro. There's probably better Cynic haters out there than you.
Hate me better, dude.
You're an F tier Cynic.
I really want Cribby to make a follow-up. I'm gonna be honest.
I
want to see him.
I hope he responds to this. This would be
great. We gave him a chance. Let's face it. I don't know. I can't speak for you guys. I really wanted to hear what he was saying, but what he was saying didn't make any sense. So I don't know whether he recognizes that fact. I don't know.
This is the thing. The rest of us were way too cynical. You know, there's a benefit to it. So what a waste of energy giving this guy the benefit of the doubt. Or I was just like, you could just tell what we're dealing with here. Can't contradict yourself that much and then have some people take you seriously.
We do have some super chats to get to real quick. I know you guys need to go, so I will make it snappy. And if you have to go beforehand, please, don't fret.
Sure.
It's totally okay.
Just fuck off.
Yeah, you can just fuck right off.
I disagree. Shocker.
I disagree with you.
James Busher for $2 with an emoji. Hell yeah.
That's £2, mate, for where we come from.
Well, I just call it bucks to make it easy.
It's not bucks, it's pounds.
Whatever.
It's sterling.
I don't care how much you wish.
Sterling. Our good friend RRTNZ for a New Zealand $5. Hang in there, Cynic. Other than being totally wrong about Man of Steel, I am correct about Man of Steel. You're great. Chuck Norris can checkmate you in a game of Scrabble.
He could.
Our good friend TGV Monster for $5. $5. Mega Geek. Hi everyone, just got off work and I want to talk about people I like, and that's all of you. It's good seeing all of you after 3 long days working. Well, it's good to see you too.
Thank you.
Really?
You like you too.
You like Vex as well? Oh, come on.
Everyone likes me, Ian. I make the good noises on stream.
I don't doubt
it. He also gifted a Little Platoon membership.
Oh,
thank you.
Tom waiting for $9.99. A lot of big critics from 10+ years ago were way more negative than y'all and 1,000% more toxic. You think Lindsay Ellis and her friends are unhinged today? You should see their old videos.
Oh,
wow.
Don't. Our good friend and wrench holder Melvin Deeply for £2. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is, I think, shite.
You know this joke, don't you? He hates that film. He totally hates it.
Our other good friend Toivo Korhonen, member for 3 months, said Cynic not good at his job. You got to do better.
The number of times that meme is going to be used in the next few months.
Prepare yourself.
Wouldn't be surprised if he says it in the movie.
Yeah.
It's quite fun if he says it in the movie.
Pi 3766 for $10. Money's whatever's. I sacrificed something for you, so now I get to do what I want with your body. Is literally the incel argument after they buy a girl a drink. Wanda is an incel. Femcel alert.
Literally, if Wanda was a male, take the entire exact same story, people would treat it the way
Exactly.
it's supposed to be treated. It's one of the best examples of double standards.
I do have a quick question about Wanda, and I don't want to segue the conversation too much, but do they ever use Vision's death as a means of garnering sympathy for her?
They try.
Okay.
They do try.
That is no. Vision's death is why she created the town in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Snuck
but
into the
it's-
place, found his body, and then pretty much snapped.
The nice thing about what was it, Endgame or whatever is like there was just like there's this alluded poignant end to her story moving forward that now she has lost the only person she ever truly connected with, right? And that was like a big foundation for her character during that arc of the movies. So I'm just wondering, do they try to because that was a good place to end off with the character, but it seems like they just replace it with this weird
Well, sort of,
child-rearing
it turns
thing.
into an instigation for the next chapter in her story. So because he's dead, she does all the shit she does in WandaVision. But then that includes recreating him first as a kind of mind projection.
Oh.
And then they create White Vision, who's in it briefly.
No,
then
it's
he
Vanilla
just,
Vision.
he just fucks off and we never see or hear from him
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, there's a
All
White
in
Vision out
Multiverse
there
of
somewhere in
Madness.
the MCU.
There's
Nobody
the
talks about
scene
it.
in Multiverse of Madness when Doctor Strange is talking about, oh shit, well, you know, what other superheroes can I possibly involve in this world-ending catastrophe? Bug-themed superheroes, and everyone in the audience is thinking, Vision, and no, it just never comes up. No one ever considers it. Well, what's the fucking point? Don't even think to bring Hawkeye in, someone she actually has a relationship with. So yeah, they try to use it as the instigator for the big tragedy that is WandaVision and everything that comes
Gotcha.
next, but they manage to make it worse.
They don't bring Hawkeye in, making fun of him just being a archer with a mohawk, but then they have archers defending the fucking temple. It doesn't make any sense, man. When he's like literally one of the only people who can talk her down, and he's done it before. He's the one who got her to join the team back in Ultron. But no, he's archer with a mohawk.
Jeremy Soden for $5 fake. Like and yet unlike EPAP. This is fun. Do it again. This was fun.
This
It was
a
fun.
lot of fun, yeah.
We'll try and find someone slightly more coherent next time, but we'll definitely look to do
Well,
it
what's
again.
this guy's name anyway? The
Cribby.
Cribby. I don't think it's fun for Cribby, but maybe it is.
Probably not.
Well, he shouldn't have made the video.
Again, like I said, we didn't hack his computer to do this. He
Yeah.
put this out into the world, and it said, "Are you sure you want to upload this?" And he clicked yes.
It said, yeah. Thrill House for $2 is downright salacious the way she be on my crumb. Oh God. Definitely not a gator for $2. I refuse to stay sober listening to this man.
His arguments might have made more sense, to be honest, if we were inebriated.
If we're drunk,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know
that-
what? He's got a point.
Hostman's Lounge Wrench Holder, our good friend, for $4.99. There should be a video essayist hit piece bingo card. These guys are always so boring and have the same wounded animal accent. Damn. Doge for $2. Cribby likes Steven Universe. Enough said.
Is that a bad show? I know nothing about Steven Universe.
Yeah, I know it.
If he likes it, it's probably shit.
Is,
It's okay.
you know, yeah.
Why can't I
so-
ever say this? I can't say Thor's hammer's name right. I always get mocked for how I say
Mjolnir.
it. Yeah, I know. I
Mjolnir.
say that. I feel like I'm saying it, but I'm
Because
not.
it's spelt by like jungle creatures. Like I don't know why they it's so
Jungle
difficult.
creatures.
Jungle creatures.
Mjolnir.
Random
The
words. It literally
famous
looks.
Norwegian jungle.
Wolfsbane.
It's such
for-
an oddly spelt word, but
It is. Wolfsbane for $1.99. Is he trying to gaslight us about Mjolnir?
yeah,
Almost.
Yeah, you did it.
Close enough.
that was one of
All
his
right.
100,000 references he was wrong on. As an opening scene, how do you miss that?
And Wolfsbane again for $1.99. That he hates autocorrect and autofill.
Same here, dude. Same here.
And Wolfsbane one more time for another $1.99. And Hawkeye knows loss in his family and Black Widow.
Yes, he
Mhm.
does.
Yes.
So many reasons.
Woo! Well, that definitely wraps up one of the funnest BSUPs we've done in a while. That was fun.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was a
Man,
lot
thanks
of
for the
fun.
invite.
That was
That was
great.
Yeah,
so
thank
random
you.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
Beats talked about the same old Hollywood news over and over again because there isn't fucking any of that at the moment. So
Right.
the vague idea is we will do these sorts of things more often especially when it's slow news week, so we don't sort of die of boredom and tedium going through backroom politics in Hollywood studios like everybody else has to do these days. So hopefully, yes, you'll see more of this sort of thing. We might have to budget for a little bit longer the next time we do it. Or we'll have to pick shorter videos to do. But hey, it's all a learning process, right?
I'm waiting
But we should pick videos that don't talk about WandaVision.
Oh, true.
That's where we got.
That gets us derailed for sure. Yeah.
I'm waiting for
one
him
to
to come
avoid.
back. I'm waiting for his
broken.
response to this video. You know it's coming.
Is he? If he's got like a 10-minute video or something, I kind of love this guy.
I'm legit. I'm gonna link this stream in the comments section of that video right now.
There you go.
Like there's a
Stir that pot, honey.
Like there's a public utility to criticism. Like no matter what, like if you're like reviewing movies like we do or a wrench, anything, it helps people to have an idea of like like reasonable people's standards. And with this stuff too, like I think this is important. Like going through his arguments and like taking the time to really show, hopefully at least one member of his fan base, how backwards it is and like all the contradictions. Like, did you notice that? Are you actually listening to this man? Because like it shouldn't make this little sense, Nobody should make this.
Hey, I hate to interrupt, but I do got to get going.
Yeah, all good, man. Do you want to plug where you're gonna be before you leave?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on my friend Leon's channel, Words of Paradise. You can find him at Words of Paradise. You can also find me at Sammy3Pete on YouTube. I have a show every Sunday called In Other News. That's where I also don't talk about news. That's what's going on in Hollywood because there's people, there's better men and women who do that for me. So I like to have people who are kind of in the nerdosphere, so to speak, and then bringing them on and not talk about things in the nerdosphere. But otherwise, I have a Batman podcast coming out called Cavecast. We're taking a very academic approach to Batman lore. And then I have a couple other projects in the works. Well, I've had my channel forever, but I'm finally actually doing stuff with it for 2025. So I'm very happy about that. So if you'd like to make your way to my channel, I'd greatly appreciate a like and a subscribe. That would be wonderful. So
and links to everyone is they will be in the description in the unlisted video and the re-up. So and Sammy, thanks so much for being on, man. It's a blast having you on here. So
always fun hanging out with you, brother.
I'll see you in a bit on Leon, Sammy.
Oh, he's gone.
I didn't even say goodbye.
And Vex, I know you had to scoot too. Did you not?
It's okay. I can hang out for a bit longer.
We're just going through the plug your shit section. So, Mega Geek, do you want to plug your shit?
Yeah, I guess. So I have this channel called the Rebecca Gold channel, which is a web series called Rebecca Gold. I'm on season 2 at the moment. I'm trying to finish it. I'm going to have a Indiegogo campaign at the end of this month, hopefully, and I hope people will give me some money so I can finish the damn thing because I've almost run out of money. And it's a good show. The trailer's there. You can take a look at it. And I'm going to try and make sure it's out before the end of this year or middle of this year. And I'm hoping you guys will like it. Anyway, that's just me. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited for season 2 of Rebecca Gold. I really liked season 1.
Well, yeah, season 2's better. In my opinion. It's much better. Much better. But I've got to finish the damn thing. So anyway.
No, thanks for being on, man. And Vex, now would you like to plug your shit?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Thank you. I figured you'd let all the other men go first, but I appreciate that. I'll be on Leon's channel after this, but thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun. It's nice to be hanging out with you guys again.
Yeah,
I have a video coming out end of the month, Nosferatu review, and every Sunday Again?
I thought you did it before. Did you not did it before?
I did one on the original Nosferatu film.
Oh, of course. That's what we're mixed up. Yeah. Right, all right.
So I'm deep diving the Robert Eggers one. So that's coming at the end of the month. And I do a stream on my channel every Sunday where I just discuss something I watched that week. And we have fun and we make a lot of dirty jokes. So thank you again for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming back here. And Mr. Jedi Brooks, what are you up to?
Ooh, thanks for the random invite.
Hell yeah.
Up since 4 a.m. I'm exhausted. I started a new job today, but I was like racing home to join this shit. And I caught like a little bit of was listening to the podcast on the way here. So it's been a fun stream. Enjoyed the entire thing. Recently put out my MCU video, the top 5 most wasted Marvel characters. It definitely applies to the stuff we're talking about tonight. So if anybody wants to deep dive into that, Wanda's definitely on the list. Spoiler.
Very good video, by the way. I've
you.
watched it. Yeah, very good video.
Thank you. I've worked so hard on that thing. I'm working on another top 5, the top 5 deleted scenes. So basically going in depth in some of the scenes that I think were just crimes against humanity to remove, and all the damage and the repercussions of them being removed, and just little ones I find fascinating. I also might be making a really small video on just character work and tension in Squid Game, and just how that show is kind of like at war with itself. Like one part of it is like very well written and fascinating, and the other part's just weak as hell. It's just, I find it so strange, but the part that it does good, I think deserves praise. Yeah. The stuff that it does well just definitely is worthy of the hype. But overall, it's slightly overrated, even as someone who really likes the show.
Yeah. And thanks again for coming on, especially at short notice. It's always a pleasure having you on here. So.
Oh no, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. As far as I am concerned, I am releasing another video about Captain America 4 because just news keeps breaking about it and I can't keep away because it's just this train wreck. I can't wait to see it. And I'm releasing a video about celebrities who just love self-destructing. And both of those might be out before the next BSUP. That's what I'm up to.
Nice.
Interesting.
And Platoon, what are you up to?
I will have nothing out before the next piece up.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing at all. The usual stuff, long old scripts. Arcane video is the one that I'm mostly into at the moment. Having a bit of trouble deciding what to do with it because I've only just finished the script for Act 1 and it's like 4 hours long. I don't want it to be like a 12-hour video, so I might end up splitting it. Haven't decided yet, but yep, just scripting, editing stuff will be out in due course.
Right on. Well, that is it. That ends this week's BSUP. And chat, you were on fire today, and this was super fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. And yeah, we will see you all next week. Bye, everybody.
Ta-da.
Boy.